Chapter 721. Seeing these two beauties being tormented to the point that their bodies were drenched, Chen Shang smiled but did not say a word. What are you laughing at? What the hell is this? Lu Meng'er charmingly snorted, taking out a handkerchief and wiping her sweat. Dongfang Xinyue was also puzzled for a while. She said in a low voice, "This dragon bone is very strong. It should be something like a immortal beast. Little brother, are you deliberately making things difficult for us?" Dongfang Xinyue asked gently. That call of, "little brother," made Chen Zhang's bones go numb. "Brat, you're purposely playing with us." Lu Meng'er pretended to be angry and asked. Chen Shang spread out his hands and said, "You're accusing me unjustly, why didn't you say so earlier? Why didn't you ask me for help?" Quote. "Can you?" Dongfang Xinyue was in disbelief. "What if I do it?" Chen Shang laughed. Seeing his smile, Lu Meng'er knew that Chen Shang had a way. Just as Dongfang Xinyue wanted to say something, Lu Meng'er shouted anxiously, "Then why aren't you doing it already?" If he did not stop Dongfang Xinyue would have been taken advantage of by this little scoundrel. "How much do you want to cut out?" Chen Shang walked over and shook his head. "I'm saying, why are you women trying to be brave? Even after all this time, you still can't get rid of them, why aren't you telling me about it?" "HMPH, we can't get them all out of the way, but you can." She knew that Chen Shang was not an ordinary brat, but no matter what, his strength was limited. "If you can open it, I'll." Seeing that, Lu Meng'er anxiously cut Dongfang Xinyue off, and said softly, "Warm Moon, I got my fire soul from this brat, don't look down on him. Many people who were stronger than him have underestimated him. Now, they are all dead, without a single piece of scrap remaining." Quote. Dongfang Xinyue was shocked, to think that Chen Shang could actually help someone else obtain the fire soul. Her ability was indeed not weak. She anxiously shut her mouth. She knew Lu Meng'er would not casually say these kinds of things. "So what?" Chen Shang laughed. "How about you be my female slave? Die!" Lu Meng'er shouted. She waved her hand and knocked on Chen Zhang's head heavily. "Open! You must be joking." Chen Shang touched his head that was in pain and laughed. "Luckily you were able to say it. Let Warm Moon be your." Lu Meng'er glared at him with her beautiful eyes. "Kid, you're getting more and more dishonest." Dongfang Xinyue wanted to say something, but she stopped herself. She actually wanted to ask Chen Shang if she could get her a set of fire soul, but she knew that it would require a lot of rewards. Chen Shang thought, "What's wrong with that? Hua Shangyu is my female slave. Hurry, we found a big secret inside the refining treasure book. After we crack it, we should be able to obtain a map." Lu Meng'er urged. "Map? The refining treasure book has a map?" This caused Chen Shang to be secretly surprised. The refining treasure book was Li Tianjin's, and the things left behind by this guy, were they not good stuff? Dongfang Xinyue nodded his head. "The profound spirit grain in this refining treasure book isn't complete, but someone has deliberately left some clues inside, which can help us find something even more comprehensive." Chen Shang also wanted to know the secret inside. He took out the green dragon demon slaying broadsword and fed it to the heaven fire, and then, like cutting tofu, he cut off a small piece of the bone according to the marks on it. This caused Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue to be dumbstruck. They had spent so much effort and had only made a few scars, but Chen Shang had easily cut them open. With the green dragon demon slaying broadsword's divine tool coupled with Chen Zhang's powerful heaven fire, he could easily cut apart the vermilion bird's skeleton. Furthermore, the vermilion bird's skeleton was already taken in by Chen Shang. It had a high defense. Refining the vermilion bird's skeleton was also very difficult, as the vermilion bird itself was a fire-attributed divine bird, so of course the bones would find it difficult to melt. In the end, Chen Shang had no choice but to participate and use its heaven fire to melt the bones. The process was extremely complicated, even Chen Shang was completely baffled by it. The biggest headache was carving those very complicated spirit grain onto the surface, then sculpting the melted materials with his mind and adding other materials. Some of the materials were even a layer of spirit grain, covered with one kind of material, and then carved another. On top of Chen Zhang's green dragon demon slain broadsword, there were countless small spirit grain. For example, in a small dot, there was just a spirit grain array, and those spirit grain not being refiners had shrunk countless of times, carved into a dot. The refining process for the divine tool was extremely huge. Chen Shang felt that if he were to cut open the green dragon demon slain broadsword, he would see some extremely complex spirit grain. And death-haunting arrows were nothing to these two beauties, especially when they worked together. It would be completed very quickly. In just 2 days, all the parts of the death-haunting arrow were assembled. The new death-haunting arrow was a bit larger than the previous one and looked very domineering. Although the material was fiery red in color, in order to prevent it from being dazzling, it would add something and turn it black. After all, it was used to trick people in the dark. When Chen Shang held it in his hand, he felt that it was very handsomely made, and that its appearance was very beautiful. It was hard to imagine that this was designed by a delicate beauty. Let's give it a try, it should be able to help you use the nirvana stage. Because of the materials, it can condense a very strong energy. Dongfang Xinyue wiped his sweat and looked at the large piece of vermilion bird bone. This would allow them to refine many powerful things, but only Chen Shang could melt and cut them off. This was also what made them feel depressed. After binding it with blood, Chen Shang held onto the death-haunting arrow. He secretly channeled his energy, causing the ground to slightly tremble, but very quickly it calmed down. Chen Shang had released the dragon power, and upon its appearance, the strong energy would immediately create a huge pressure, but it was quickly absorbed by the death-haunting arrow, condensing the dragon power into a black chi arrow. Although it looked like there was no chi, Chen Shang could feel its power. This is the dragon power. Dongfang Xinyue's beautiful eyes flashed with a surprised light. As she was practicing the legendary Taiji dragon suppressed Kung Fu, the person who could use the same kind of power as a dragon was extremely surprised. Only wanted to test if he could condense his dragon power. After seeing that it could be condensed, he smiled in satisfaction. Thank you, sisters, for this bone as a reward. He took out the green dragon demon slain broadsword and cut it in half. We can't cut it, and we can't melt it. What's the use of saying that we have to come? Would you like to see it? Lu Meng'er muttered. Looking once again at Chen Zhang's green dragon demon slain broadsword, Dongfang Xinyue was able to discern something. This blade was extremely powerful, especially those small spirit grain that were flickering on top. Chapter 722. Chen Shang took out 2 pearls that were filled with flames. These were the heaven fire that Chen Shang had condensed over the past 2 days, and they were all compressed in here by him. When it melts, use my flame. When you cut it, wrap it around your weapon. It should be enough for you to use it for a long time. Chen Shang threw the 2 pearls out. The 2 girls anxiously and carefully caught it. Chen Zhang's flame was not strong, but it could melt the bones that made them feel helpless. But this flame looked very normal and nothing special. When Chen Shang was questioned about it, he also mysteriously refused to speak of it, causing the 2 girls to be extremely curious. If the refining treasure book find me, come find me. I will be in the super martial school. I will try this. Chen Shang shook the death-haunting arrow in his hand. After Chen Shang left, Dongfang Xinyue was filled with doubts. Meng'er, the husband of your disciple is really amazing, the blade in his hand is no ordinary thing. Have you ever borrowed it? Quote. Dongfang Xinyue played with the fire-gathering pearl that Chen Shang gave her. Although the fire inside wasn't very strong, it could melt those bones, which made it hard for her to understand. Warm Moon, this brat has a lot of secrets. Although I know a little, without his permission, I cannot speak carelessly. Please forgive me, Lu Meng'er said. Dongfang Xinyue smiled lightly. It's all right, hurry up and unravel the secret inside the refining treasure book. This little scoundrel actually wants you to be her slave. Too bad, you have to be careful. Lu Meng'er pouted. Dongfang Xinyue's jade face reddened, and she nodded while laughing. He's indeed a bad boy. Chen Zhang's whereabouts were extremely secretive, and he had also mastered a very powerful body transformation technique. If he wanted to hide, no one would be able to find him, so he was not worried about the 10 billion bounty at all. Now that he had returned to the Heavenly Emperor City, he had even changed into that Dongfang Rong's appearance. He was strutting about in the city, and no one would suspect him in the slightest. The Eastern Profound Realm was already sealed up. All the clan elders had been in closed doors training ever since they returned from the super martial school. They even stopped expanding because they knew that they were not the strongest in this new world. Chen Shang came back to find Dongfang Profound Long. He felt that this guy was the best candidate for the test, but he couldn't find him. Captain, why are you still here? A patrolman said in surprise when he saw Chen Shang. Why can't I be here? Chen Shang purposely had a gloomy face, scaring the soldiers so much that he shivered. The appearance of a treasure light in the continent of the king is possible because I heard that it's the birth of a treasure. Strange flowers, strange plants, treasures, or even immortal beasts from the sky. In short, young Master Dongfang has brought a group of people with him. That soldier hastily replied. Even in this new world, the continent of the king was the largest continent. Adding the devil-subduing college, fire divine palace and the vain martial cultivators above, these three powers made the continent of the king very famous. Chen Shang had been staying with the two beauties for the past 2 days, so he naturally did not know anything about what was happening outside. After hearing the news, he hurriedly passed through the transmission array and arrived at continent of the king. The Fire Divine Palace was originally very famous in other worlds, and there were also many branch halls. After all the worlds had been fused together, the Devil-Subduing College and the Fire Divine Palace would become the headquarters, and the frequency of using the transmission array was also the highest. There were people everywhere from the Fire Divine Palace to the Devil-Subduing College, especially a lot of people from the Devil-Subduing College, because even if they joined other sects, they could still enter the Devil-Subduing College to learn the demon-subduing martial arts, so they had the largest number of people. Adding the fact that the Great War between three realms was about to arrive, even some of the Nirvana stage were shamelessly staying in the academy with a group of brats to listen to their teacher and learn the demon-subduing martial arts. It was not easy for them to plunder the Fire Soul. If not for the fact that people with Fire Soul were keeping a low profile, then there would be a few strong cultivators. There were many refiners in the Alchemist, and if they dared to act recklessly right now, it would be very troublesome. Was a little surprised to find that treasure light after some inquiry. It was actually in the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea, which was one of the great dangers of the continent of the king. When he and Hua Shangyu had first entered, he had encountered a great danger. There is a super old sacred land inside there, and there is a dragon inside the super old sacred land. However, even if that dragon comes out, there's nothing to be afraid of. With this many experts in this new world, this dragon will be the safest to hide in. Chen Shang laughed. As expected, numbers make more strength. The most frightening thing in the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea was not the Shuilei beastmen and Shuilei beasts that were filled with poison, but the type of Shuilei that was everywhere without any pattern, to the point where even the Nirvana stage was afraid of them. If it was in the past, Chen Shang would probably be worried, but now, he had nothing to be afraid of. His body was so strong, he still wanted to give the Shuilei a hack to see how strong it was. Because a treasure light had appeared in the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea, a transmission array had been established in the city of the king. Even without the transmission array, Chen Shang could use that Luotian gate to directly go to the center of the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea. As for him, he was only here to test the death-haunting arrow. At the same time, he wanted to see what other powerful people were inside. The sky above the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea was filled with dense lightning bolts that rained down like a torrential rain, enveloping the entire Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea. Many people had set up tents outside the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea, waiting for the lightning rain to end before entering to investigate what was happening. Amongst the crowd, Chen Shang suddenly caught a glimpse of a very shiny bald head, flashing along with the blood lightning in the distance. Chen Shang squeezed through the crowd and came to the side of the bald man. One look and sure enough, it was Xiao Chou. Many people were watching the countless red lightning bolts in the sky, hoping to disappear quickly, and it was an extremely spectacular sight, so when everyone was watching, Chen Shang suddenly extended his hand and patted Xiao Chou's little bald head hard. Xiao Chou was enraged. He turned his head and roared, "Who dares to hit me?" The crowd looked at each other. Chen Shang had acted extremely quickly, and no one could see who moved the hand. Moreover, no one could hear the sound of the claps of thunder in the distance. Chen Shang had already become that Dongfang Rong, and even his aura was extremely real. Of course Xiao Chou wouldn't be able to recognize him. Seeing the young man's bald head looking angry, but having no place to vent it out, Chen Shang couldn't hold back his laughter. Xiao Chou clenched his fists tightly and glared at everyone. After being taught by Chen Shang, he had become extremely obedient. If it was the past, the people around him would have all been beaten to the point of looking for teeth, with bruises all over. The moment Xiao Chou turned around, when he wasn't paying attention, Chen Zhang's hand flashed like lightning and fiercely slapped that shiny bald head. "Who the FK hit my head? Come out if you have the guts. Don't sneak around," Xiao Chou roared again, causing Chen Shang to almost laugh out loud. However, Long Shui had already laughed to the point where he had no heart and no lungs. Everyone felt Xiao Chou's terrifying aura and inwardly, they were angry. Who would use such a childish method to tease the bald youth? Chapter 723. In order to prevent Xiao Chou's anger from burning into his body, everyone scattered. In order to prevent Xiao Chou's anger from burning into his body, everyone scattered. Xiao Chou scratched his head, and turned to look at the people around him. His eyes that was brimming with anger, stared straight at everyone's face. He wanted to find out who the suspect was from the crowd and be toyed with like that, in his eyes, was an insult. Baldy, look here. Chen Shang suddenly came to his back, and then fiercely slapped that bright skull. Bastard, I'll kill you. Xiao Chou saw who it was and shouted loudly, throwing a punch at Chen Shang, but Chen Shang surprisingly dodged it. After that, he quickly passed by Xiao Chou and slapped him. Chen Shang laughed. Damn Baldy, how can you be so powerful? Xiao Chou was enraged. He stomped his feet fiercely, causing the ground to shake. Everyone was startled and quickly retreated. They could see that a battle was about to break out. Chen Zhang's feet slipped, but he did not rush towards Xiao Chou. Instead, he ran towards the side. Coward, don't run. Xiao Chou roared and chased closely after him. No one expected the bald youth to be so powerful. He looked young, but his voice was loud and his strength was strong. Chen Shang changed back into his original form as he ran. He only stopped when he entered a forest and turned around when he saw Xiao Chou's strong and violent fist flying towards him. Chen Shang grabbed onto the fist, the powerful force exploding outwards, but was dissolved by Chen Zhang's Taiji Dragon suppressed Kung Fu. Master. Seeing that it was Chen Shang, Xiao Chou curled his lips. I should have long thought that you're the only one who would be so bored. Little Baldy, your Baldy is too eye-catching. I can't help but want to hit him. Chen Shang laughed. Why did you come here to join in the fun? Xiao Chou rolled his eyes. I'm here to gain experience, master, didn't you come as well? I'm here to hunt. Chen Shang laughed. What hunt? Xiao Chou knew that by following Chen Shang, he could always do some very exciting things. Are you afraid to enter the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea right now? Chen Shang smiled slightly. We'll leave then. Of course Xiao Chou wasn't afraid. What's more, there was still Chen Shang. Chen Shang brought Xiao Chou and walked into the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea that was filled with red lightning. There were countless gigantic mountains inside, and these gigantic mountains were also suffering from the attacks of lightning, but these gigantic mountains were able to absorb the lightning energy, and then channel it into the earth, allowing this entire Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea to give birth to a unique type of spirit energy. Thus, the spirit beasts inside were all very strong, as they cultivated this kind of shui lei energy. Everyone did not expect the little Baldy, who was shouting and fighting just now, to actually follow someone else into the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea, which was filled with terrifying shui leis. Right now, it was extremely dangerous. People with normal brains would not even go in. After entering, through his sharp senses, Chen Shang was able to avoid the attacks of the shui lei. If he were to strike down, he would use the heaven blasting palm to blast away the shui lei that was condensed with great power. The remaining thunder power would become his energy after drilling into his body. Xiao Chou, how long have you been here? Chen Shang asked. He had come here to look for Dongfang Profound Long. I came in very early, but I was waiting for the right time to go in, because after such a dense amount of shui lei appeared, there would be a lot of lightning beasts. I came in to find some lightning beasts to gain experience, so I needed to increase my strength. Xiao Chou said in a serious tone. Right now, I am at least in the middle stage of the 100 refining realm. You will have to go to Nirvana stage, then wouldn't that far surpass me? Chen Shang exclaimed. Of course, I'm a rare genius in the great strength race. Although Master was stronger than me before, I don't know for sure in the future. Xiao Chou said very naturally. Chen Shang patted his bald head. I've gotten sick again, just you wait, I definitely won't be outdone by you. Don't forget, I am an alchemist. I am speaking. If everything goes smoothly, it won't take more than half a year. I am already a great strength race warrior. Xiao Chou said in an arrogant tone. If Xiao Chou stepped into the Nirvana stage, it would not be so simple for Chen Shang to win. After all, the Nirvana stage was a half-immortal cultivator, and after crossing 9 tribulations, he would become a deity. By the way, did you see the Dongfang family come in? Chen Shang knew that the people of the Dongfang family were very high profile when they were traveling, it could be seen from their clothes. I see. Many people from the Dongfang family, Devil Subduing College and the Fire Divine Palace have entered. Moreover, they were the earliest ones. Xiao Chou said. The number of shui lei in the sky started to decrease. After more than 2 hours had passed, the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea had returned to its original state. Ah-oh, a series of beast roars echoed throughout the mountain range. He's here. Xiao Chou suddenly became agitated. while Chen Shang was already flying towards the direction of the voice. Chen Shang released the Heaven Tour method, and with his fastest speed, rushed towards the direction of the roar, and very quickly, he saw a group of people surrounding and attacking a double-headed lion, whose body was covered in blood-red lightning aura. The Shui Lei double-headed lion is very famous in Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea. It is a type of lightning beast with a lot of breeds and is the strongest profound beast, with a lot of them. However, that group of people were from two different forces and they were arguing right now. What surprised Chen Shang was that one of the people on one side was from the beast martial school, and he even saw a beautiful figure, Yan Yanren. From the contents of their argument, Chen Shang knew that because they had discovered the Shui Lei double-headed lion at the same time, and because they had chased it for a long time, in the end, the Shui Lei double-headed lion was killed by beast martial school, but they did not recognize the other side. Brat, in a bit, it's not a lightning beast that's going to be hit, but a human. Prepare yourself. Chen Shang snickered. Who are you hitting? Xiao Chou immediately became excited. It seems to be a disciple from the Thunder Heaven School. Chen Shang had never heard of Lei Tian, so he did not know how strong these disciples were. Thunder Heaven School. I know, it's one of the top 10 sects in the New World, ranked 3rd. Xiao Chou said. Then what is our super martial school's rank? Chen Shang was curious. There's no ranking. It seems to be the Dongfang families. The top 10 are the Dongfang family's first place. But this Thunder Heaven School must have some power, otherwise he would have already been scolded to death by someone with that ranking. Quote. Then let's go take a look and see how strong the third-ranked sect in this new world is. Chen Shang sneered. There were only 4 people in the Beast Martial School, but there were more than 10 in the Thunder Heaven School. Chapter 724. This is obviously our spoils of war, why should we split half of it with you? Yan Yanren's cold and angry voice was crisp and echoed within the mountains. We've chased for so long, if this beast wasn't afraid of us, it wouldn't have run for its life. We used up a lot of its energy, so you can easily kill it. A handsome man from Thunder Heaven School said. Don't try to argue with us, we discovered that the Shui Lei double-headed lion was fighting against this beast long ago, and only ran away if we couldn't win against it, and only when we were chasing after it did we run into you guys. What does it have to do with you? Although Yan Yanren and the others did not have many people, they did not want to be at a disadvantage. The man from the Thunder Heaven School sneered, and made a hand gesture. The 10+ people immediately surrounded Yan Yanren and the others. After Chen Shang saw this from afar, he took out a death-haunting arrow and shot it at one of the Thunder Heaven School's. The black crossbow bolts silently flew over as fast as light. However, the energy gathered on them wasn't too strong. The arrow pierced through the thigh of a Thunder Heaven School man, causing him to let out a howl. Who was the assassin? The Thunder Heaven School man was immediately shocked. To be able to silently pierce through his thigh, it was similarly able to pierce through a person's head. Was very satisfied with just one arrow being able to achieve such a result. Chen Shang and Xiao Chou slowly walked out. Chen Shang sneered. Thunder Heaven School, right? Did you two rely on your numbers to steal someone's things? Seeing that Chen Shang had arrived, Yan Yanren was ecstatic, and anxiously said, That's right, they are like that, a sect that is ranked 3rd in a new world, it seems to be nothing more than dog shit. Chen Shang. When Chen Shang was offered a bounty of 10 billion, it was known to many that his portrait was owned by almost everyone. The people of Thunder Heaven School quickly took out the bounty token from the storage magic treasure to compare. It was exactly the same. That's right, I'm Chen Shang. The 10 billion spar are right here. If you have the guts, come and take it. Chen Shang laughed faintly, not the slightest bit afraid. To these warriors whose cultivations were not even in the Nirvana stage, 10 billion spars was a huge sum of money. Even the Nirvana stage would be moved by it. Chen Shang was far more precious than the Shui Lei twin-headed lion that was lying on the ground. The disciples of the Thunder Heaven School immediately looked at Chen Shang with greedy and malicious eyes. The person who got the 10 billion bounty from the Dongfang family, he should be an unpardonable scoundrel. Attack! The leading man shouted. You bunch of hypocrites, if you want to kill him, then come over here and find an excuse. Chen Shang said in disdain as he looked at Xiao Chou. Xiao Chou's fists were covered with a golden glow. Seeing that Chen Shang had nodded in agreement, he stomped his feet hard, and the ground actually cracked. When Chen Shang appeared, everyone's attention was focused on him, and they directly ignored the bald man, Xiao Chou. However, they were currently shocked by his strength. Just as everyone was in shock, Xiao Chou had already flashed into the encirclement of the Thunder Heaven School disciples, and actually walked right into their trap. However, Chen Shang was not the least bit worried. If you want to kill my master, you have to pass through me first. Xiao Chou roared. He leapt and descended from the sky, a strange divine power suddenly emerging from his palm. It made people feel as though there was a huge mountain pressing down on them. When Xiao Chou's palm struck down, the range of the palm's power was very wide, and the strong pressure caused the cover to press down. Two people were actually smashed deep into a pulp, their flesh and blood mixed together with the shattered ground, making them look extremely bloody. PFF'd, with such little strength, you want to take my master's head? Xiao Chou thought that the other side would try to resist, but instead, like a tofu bean, he was slapped flat. Chen Shang had a disciple of the great strength race, that was something many people knew. However, Xiao Chou gave off the impression that he was a brat, and that he wasn't that strong. After Xiao Chou killed the two disciples from the Thunder Heaven School, like a berserk leopard, he rushed towards the other person. Smashing his fist out, he instantly broke through that person's defensive chi shield and shattered all the bones in his chest. This young man's head was so berserk, shocking everyone present. Even Yan Yanran had her beautiful eyes opened wide. You bunch of scum. It wasn't that Xiao Chou was too strong, it was just that these people were too weak. When Xiao Chou attacked, he used his full strength. If his disciple was so powerful, then what about his master? The people of Thunder Heaven School were extremely frightened. They did not dare to take the head of their master, and immediately ran for their lives. Seeing that someone wanted to escape, Chen Shang frowned. A bolt of lightning suddenly struck down from the sky. He was already able to use his own mana to control the lightning element innate chi in his body, and create a bolt of lightning in the air. When one's magic power was strong, they could summon the wind and summon the rain. Summoning lightning was also an easy task. If you want to take my head, you have to have some ability. Chen Shang laughed coldly. The lightning had struck him like crazy, and anyone could tell that he was the one who created the purple lightning. However, no one could feel the aura he was releasing. After being struck by the purple lightning, his entire body would only be paralyzed for a short while, and then, he would leave it to Xiao Chou to deal with. Leave two people alive and tell them to scram back to the Thunder Heaven School. This is the result of bullying any of our sects. Chen Shang warned her. Xiao Chou did as he was told, leaving the two of them to run back and then pat his hands. What third sect? If it's a battle between the younger generation, our super martial school will definitely not lose. Yan Yanran hurriedly thanked Chen Shang and the others. On the way here, he found out about the dragon subduing school that Chen Shang was talking about and knew that Yan Yanran was also his fellow sect member. We just came out. There were a lot of people going in at the beginning, but the number of people getting in became fewer and fewer. The people going in are all gone, and we didn't dare to go in. You guys should hurry up and leave this damn place. Yan Yanran advised. Of course Chen Shang knew that it was strange. The super old sacred land in the middle had a dragon trapped inside. Xiao Chou, you and them will be outside fighting the thunder beasts. Go back when it's about time. I'll go in and take a look myself. Chen Shang said in a heavy voice. Xiao Chou was originally here to give it a try, so he nodded his head and said, I understand, Master, be careful. Chen Shang did not use the Luotian gate to open up some space to enter. If there was a huge change in the middle of super old sacred land, it would not be a wise decision for him to suddenly appear there. He told Long Shui to use the heaven tour method and go deeper into sea. Isn't this little brat Chen Shang? Why is he here too? Lu Munger flew down from a mountain and followed behind her. Chapter 725. Lu Munger was also surprised that Lu Munger and Dongfang Xinyue suddenly appeared. Previously, they said that it would take a while for them to solve the secret inside the refining treasure book. What are you doing here? Lu Munger avoided a shui lei and slowly floated down to Chen Zhang's side. Dongfang Xinyue followed closely behind, like two fairies that suddenly descended from the heavens. Looking for treasures. Could it be that you guys didn't know that a precious light appeared here, and that many people came here in search of treasures? Chen Shang asked curiously. He had come here to watch the show, to find some powerful things to test the death-haunting arrow, but the two beauties did not seem to know about the appearance of the treasure. As expected, the two girls looked at each other and shook their heads. Dongfang Xinyue said gently, we have cracked the secrets inside the refining treasure book and obtained a map. Then, we will go to the continent of the king and enter the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea. No wonder you all came from that direction. Could it be that the final target of the map is the center of Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea? Chen Shang was shocked. Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue nodded at the same time. There's a super old sacred land in the middle with a dragon sealed inside. Chen Shang said. Lu Meng'er also knew that he had told her when he and Hua Shangyu had returned from the super old sacred land. That super old sacred land is very big, right? The map that we got was detailed on the route inside the super old sacred land. Lu Meng'er said. Chen Shang shrugged his shoulders. There's a dragon inside. If I had the strength of all of you, I might be able to take him down. There's no need for you to worry. The warm moon has an array disk that is specially used to deal with dragons. Lu Meng'er laughed. I obtained an immemorial dragon subduing formation. I refined that formation into an array disk, which can be easily used. If it's not a critical moment, I normally do not use it because it consumes a lot of best spars. Dongfang Xinyue took out a snow-white disk that was as big as the table, and on it were many complicated spirit grains. An array disk was a type of array formation that could move very quickly. It was a special material that was refined by an array master and used to conveniently carry around. Normally, it was very useful and powerful because there were very few materials needed to create an array disk. Then let's go together. I've been here a few times, so I'm more familiar with this place. Chen Shang also wanted to see what the super old sacred land was hiding. When Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue came, they were almost struck a few times. However, Chen Shang had come a few times, making them to believe him, but they believed him very quickly, because they saw Chen Zhang's fist that was able to disperse and absorb the powerful blood-red light, so they were not afraid of this kind of shui lei at all. Previously, Yan Yanren had said that many people who went in had gone missing. This made Chen Shang wonder if there was a problem with the seal dragon's array and people could go in. If that was really the case, then they would most likely be killed when they were attacked by the dragon. After passing through the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea, Chen Shang and the others came to the central region. What's going on? Why has it changed so much? Previously, this place was filled with large trees, but now, it has become a grassland. Chen Shang looked around in shock. The center of the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea was a very safe place with many ancient trees that reached into the sky. This was something that Chen Shang had seen before. Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue quickly discovered something. They split into two different directions and walked one step at a time, looking at something on the grass before looking at the sky. There is indeed a very big illusion formation. It almost covers the entire center area, but this illusion formation is very ancient. Could it be an illusion formation that activates on its own? Lu Meng'er said. Now, Chen Shang understood why all the people that Yan Yanren mentioned had disappeared and entered the illusion formation. In the middle of this illusion formation is the super old sacred land. Do you still want to enter? Chen Shang asked. Of course we have to go in. We've all come here. As Dongfang Xinyue spoke, he stepped into the illusion array and disappeared. Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er were shocked. They anxiously chased after him and went into the array. That's what I'm familiar with. Chen Shang finally saw those huge ancient trees. It's hard to get out. Look at the back. Although Dongfang Xinyue said that, he did not look worried at all. Chen Shang turned around to look. There was no Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea behind him, they were all thick and big trees. The people from the Dongfang family are coming over. Dongfang Lingyun, the three elders, and a group of people below Nirvana stage are here. Long Shui suddenly said. The people of the Dongfang family were all trapped here, but he wasn't too worried. Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue were not weak, and the two girls were both blacksmiths. My two sisters, the people from the Dongfang family are coming, is also here. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he immediately disappeared. He was indeed worried that he would drag them down, and when Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue wanted to take care of him, he would inevitably be distracted. Dongfang Xinyue frowned. Her gentle voice was filled with anger. It's good that you are here, let's settle the score with this old fellow. Chen Shang was hiding on a big tree in the distance, holding on to the death-haunting arrow. Although the distance between them was more than 300 meters, he could clearly see the two beauties wearing snow-white clothes. Not long after Chen Shang left, a large group of people quickly walked over. Dongfang Lingyun and Dongfang Profoundlong were walking in front, and when they discovered Dongfang Xinyue, they couldn't help but be shocked. As for the rest of the people from the Dongfang family, when they saw these two beauties suddenly appear here, they couldn't help but stare blankly. However, they immediately lowered their heads when they felt the power exuded from the two girls' bodies. Traitor! Dongfang Lingyun shouted angrily. He obviously knew that Dongfang Xinyue did not take the life vein away, because it was definitely not something that he could take away easily. Although he did not know why the life vein would disappear, it was a good opportunity to frame him. Old man, you said I'm a traitor, why don't you take out the evidence? You think I'm a traitor just because of your old mouth. Although I don't really care about the Dongfang family, my contribution to the Dongfang family is definitely not less than yours. Dongfang Xinyue's jade face was filled with anger and grievance. Dongfang Xinyue was proficient in artifact forging and formation, and had contributed a lot in this area. So what, take him down, Dongfang Lingyun said coldly. He also knew that the beautiful woman beside Dongfang Xinyue was not weak, but there were 4 of them. Once Lu Meng'er released the power of the ice wind, a layer of frost suddenly condensed on the surrounding trees. The cold wind howled, and the surrounding 100 meters were filled with snow ice. Chapter 726. Seeing Lu Meng'er releasing such a strong cold chi, the elders all anxiously used their powers to block the cold chi that was attacking the weaker people on their side. How dare you touch Warm Moon? Lu Meng'er's voice was filled with incomparable majesty and fury, and an even more intense cold chi was released from her voice, causing Dongfang Lingyun to feel somewhat fearful. Ice Wind Magic Kung Fu, you are Chen Martial Continent, Divine Weapons Heavenly Countries Lu Meng'er. Dongfang Lingyun had also done a very detailed investigation on the experts in the Chen Martial Continent. Humph, Lu Meng'er swept the 3 elders with his cold gaze, not a single bit afraid. Sensing the cold chi, Chen Shang also shivered, his crossbow arrow aimed at an elder who had suddenly stopped in his tracks. He poured his strongest power into the crossbow, dragon power and devil-suppressing holy power, and the 2 types of power merged together. Through the unique spirit grain above the death-haunting arrow, they transformed into a crossbow arrow made of black chi. He should be an elder who has survived the Nirvana tribulation. Let me see what kind of damage this death-haunting arrow can do to him. Chen Shang released the arrow, the black arrow flew past soundlessly, but the elder sensed the power of the arrow and immediately released an innate chi barrier. When the arrow hit the innate chi barrier, it dissipated without a single ripple. This is the difference, Chen Shang sighed. If the arrow had landed on the person who had survived the tribulation of Nirvana stage, it might have had some effect. However, it was like an egg striking a stone to the elder who had survived the tribulation of the 8th Nirvana. What kind of scoundrel dares to secretly attack someone? The elder roared in anger. Chen Shang had a bright idea and quickly imitated his master Huang Jintian's voice and started to laugh crazily. You guys, if you don't dare to deal with Super Martial School, then you specifically came here to bully women, right? What's the difference between things like you and the demons in the demon realm? Hearing Huang Jintian's voice, the faces of Dongfang Lingyun and the 3 elders changed, and they anxiously brought their people to flee. Dongfang Profound Long, let me give you a taste of my arrows. Chen Shang aimed at Dongfang Profound Long's thigh and shot an arrow. The strong arrow instantly pierced Dongfang Profound Long's thigh, causing a burst of blood to blossom. Dongfang Profound Long immediately let out a miserable scream. Seeing that, Dongfang Lingyun grabbed Dongfang Profound Long and ran. In the blink of an eye, all the people from the Dongfang family had left. The ice around him started to melt as Chen Shang walked over with a smile. These guys were almost killed by my master last time, but now they ran away when they heard my master's voice. Chen Shang grinned. Who would know if they were killed in a place like this? Dongfang Lingyun and the others did not want to die in such a useless manner. Do you really hate Dongfang Profound Long? Dongfang Xinyue asked. Of course, who told him to keep deceiving that little fool? Chen Shang curled his lips and said. Of course, Dongfang Xinyue knew who that little fool was. He was her niece, Dongfang Jing. Oh right, why is this Dongfang Lingyun so concerned about Dongfang Profound Long's life and death? Chen Shang had betrayed his father, so he might betray Dongfang Lingyun in the future as well. Dongfang Profound Long possesses the bloodline of the patriarch, so the patriarch can only be inherited by our bloodline. Otherwise, the Dongfang family will meet with misfortune. This is the teachings of our ancestors. Dongfang Xinyue sighed. But who would have known, my brother's 2 sons are both this kind of people. Dongfang Yao stole the ancestral treasure, killed his teachers and escaped. I want to kill them too. Quote. Lu Meng'er said. Why didn't you kill Dongfang Profound Long with 1 arrow just now? Chen Shang shook her head. I was worried that Warm Moon Big Sis would feel uncomfortable, so I thought it was better not to. The people from the Dongfang family had been searching for a way out of this place the entire time. It seemed like those who had entered were all trapped inside, and Dongfang Xinyue was a master of formations, so breaking this array was naturally not a problem for him, and Dongfang Lingyun felt extremely helpless. He was the most powerful person in the Dongfang family, but he was trapped here in this damned place. Chen Shang, why did you give this little idiot relive Dan to Jingjing? You've known her for a long time? Asked. She had heard from Lu Meng'er that Chen Shang was a philanderer, she only knew how quickly Chen Shang treated Dongfang Jing. I thought she was cute, so I gave it to her. The last time she pretended to be me in Heavenly Emperor City, I followed her and fought with her. I found out that she was easy to deceive, and became friends with her. Chen Shang said with a serious face, but his mind was thinking about the big rabbit on the stupid beauty's chest. She refused to believe that Chen Shang did not take advantage of her. She was worried that if this were to continue, even Dongfang Xinyue would be killed by this little scoundrel. After arriving at the center, Chen Shang took out the Luotian gate, and asked with a serious expression, "Are you ready? There's an angry dragon inside. After being locked up for so many years, once we enter, he'll definitely attack us." Quote, "I'm ready. I can use my formation plate at any time." She also wanted to see what that dragon looked like. There weren't many dragons in mortal realm, so there were even less who could see it. Lu Meng'er was also looking forward to it, but they did not know that Chen Shang had already killed a very powerful boa dragon. What is this? When Dongfang Xinyue saw that the Luotian gate in Chen Zhang's hand had many miraculous spirit grain, she curiously and immediately brought her beautiful face closer. When Chen Shang felt the intoxicating fragrance enveloping him, he couldn't help but turn around, and her lips actually touched Dongfang Xinyue's beautiful jade face. "Ah!" Dongfang Xinyue tenderly called out, covering her face with her hands, her face full of bashfulness as she looked at Chen Shang. Her face was completely red, and her heart was thumping hard. Chen Shang being able to kiss the beauty's face made him extremely happy, but he was extremely calm. In order to prevent Dongfang Xinyue from investigating further, he anxiously coughed twice. "Cough cough, this is a powerful treasure that Senior gave me, are you ready? I will open a door, and enter the super old sacred land." As the dimensional door opened, Dongfang Xinyue was quickly attracted by it. This kind of spatial type treasure was extremely rare, and the refining process was extremely complicated as well. "Let's go in together, because it will close in an instant." Chen Shang did not wait for the two girls to react as he pulled their jade hands and entered the dimensional door. How could Lu Meng'er not see Chen Shang taking advantage of others? Seeing Chen Zhang's guilty look, she secretly felt jealous, but now was not the time to speak. Entering the spatial gate, they appeared in a pile of ruins, where a burst of intense dragon aura could be felt. Dongfang Xinyue anxiously took out the array disc. Just then, a huge blue dragon flew over from the forest far away. Just as Dongfang Xinyue wanted to release the large array, the blue dragon flashed and turned into a middle-aged man dressed in blue. "Why is it you again? Brat, are you done yet?" That handsome middle-aged man pointed at Chen Shang and shouted. Chapter 727. The dragon did not attack, but had turned into a human instead. Long Yan shouted angrily and pointed at Chen Shang. "Brat, what tricks are you trying to pull this time? Every single time, you just have to come for a short period of time before leaving." The corner of Chen Zhang's mouth twitched. This was the third time he had entered, and every time he had not been caught by the dragon. He never expected that the dragon would be filled with grievances right now, and was currently scratching prison. "Big brother, this isn't your home. It's also a very important place. Every time I come, I have to avoid you. I feel helpless too." Chen Shang laughed bitterly. Seeing the thing in Dongfang Xinyue's hands, the dragon said, "Is this thing used to deal with me?" Dongfang Xinyue and Lu Meng'er were also stunned. They never thought that Chen Shang would actually be able to speak calmly to this angry dragon. They both wanted to laugh. Chen Shang, this annoying brat, was even unable to endure a dragon. "That's right. If you don't attack us, I don't want to use it either," Dongfang Xinyue said. Although the dragon had turned into a single person and had no intention of attacking, she and Lu Meng'er were still on guard. In order to make this dragon fear him, Chen Shang deliberately released the dragon power. "Yo, dragon power." The middle-aged man was slightly shocked, and what surprised him was not only the dragon power, but also a strange aura, dragon-slaying chi. Dragon-slaying chi? Chen Shang was a little puzzled. Long Shui said, "After killing the dragon, and then by absorbing the dragon's pearl, this kind of aura will be condensed. Whatever you guys want, Just don't disturb my cultivation. The dragon shook its head and leapt into the air, transforming into a blue dragon that flew into the forest. Chen Shang stuck out his tongue. I didn't expect him to get scared from me. This is a profound realm, and it's very big. Dongfang Xinyue immediately took out the map and looked for the direction with Lu Meng'er. Chen Shang actually wanted to find the dragon and talk to it, to see if he could take it, but that was a little unrealistic. He was currently very weak, and felt that he had to win against the dragon. It's very dangerous inside here, there are some places even I don't dare to go to. From the forest came the voice of the dragon. We're already here, let's go take a look first. If we really can't handle the danger, we can come back later. Dongfang Xinyue said, and Lu Meng'er nodded. You guys have to watch over me. I'm not as powerful as you guys. Chen Shang spread his hands. Don't be modest. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to get here so smoothly. Lu Meng'er laughed and walked in front with Dongfang Xinyue. A beauty's trouble. Boy, don't be killed by these two women. Your future is limitless. Although the sound was not loud, Chen Shang and the rest could hear it. It's worth dying with them, hee hee. Chen Shang laughed, he was not too worried. After leaving the ruins, Chen Shang and the two girls found out that they were originally at the top of a huge mountain. Originally, Lu Meng'er wanted to take out the Jade Lotus Frisbee, but there was a strange power in the air that forcefully suppressed the flying Jade Lotus Frisbee. Chen Shang lightly jumped up into the air. After jumping up into the air, he also felt the sudden pressure, and then, as if he had been ruthlessly smashed by a huge hammer, he fell heavily onto the ground. Now, he knew how impressive that dragon was to be able to fly around. Even Lu Meng'er, Dongfang Xinyue and the others could easily fly around. Let's just obediently walk over. Chen Shang also looked at the map. The place was still very far away and this was a very big profound realm. It was also at the center of the continent of the king. However, he suddenly recalled his promise with Elder Dan. If he was unable to make it on time, he would definitely be despised to death by Elder Dan. He hurriedly took out the Luotian gate, but after trying, he was unable to open the spatial door. Not a small one. Dongfang Xinyue looked at the sky. That's right, there are many powerful formations that cover this profound realm. Lu Meng'er praised. To be able to create such a huge array, not only would all the powerful array masters work together, they would also be set up by a very powerful individual. Hurry up, I still have a date. If I can't make it, I will die. Chen Shang anxiously shouted. What date? Lu Meng'er asked curiously. Chen Shang rarely had such a worried expression. Anyway, I missed it. I will be very miserable. Chen Shang knew that the Elder Dan had a bad temper. Lu Meng'er thought of Huang Jintian and did not ask any more. That old madman truly scared people. The three of them increased their pace and started running on the ground. However, Chen Shang was pulled by two women because he was too slow. Fortunately, his physical body was very strong, and was able to withstand the pressure of such a fast sprint. Climbing over many mountains, passing through a large forest, and leaping over a marsh filled with foul air, he was chased by a few groups of demon beasts on the way and finally arrived at his destination. It was a huge lake that was dried up. The map showed that this place was originally made of water. Lu Meng'er brought Chen Shang to the bottom of the dried up lake, and looked at the map, looking for some markings. Soon, they found a box that looked like it was made of mud at the bottom of the lake. There really is a treasure. Chen Shang shouted excitedly. It had been many years since someone last came here, and this was something that had existed since the primordial era. Dongfang Xinyue walked over and gently caressed the box that was covered with the weathered soil. The soil outside immediately cracked and a box that looked like it was made of green jade appeared, releasing a faint green light. Dongfang Xinyue used both hands to carry it. It looked very light, so she walked towards Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er. Let's open it and see what's inside. Dongfang Xinyue's face was full of excited smiles, causing her jade face to turn red, making her look extremely enchanting. Just as Lu Meng'er extended his hand out, he was grabbed by Chen Shang. Let me do it. Chen Zhang's impenetrable. If there was extremely poison inside, these two beauties definitely wouldn't be able to endure it, but he wasn't afraid. Whether it was the poisonous blood of the poisonous dragon or the strange poisonous magical corruption gas, they had no effect on him. Seeing Chen Zhang's eyes filled with worry, Lu Meng'er felt a warm feeling in his heart and nodded. When Chen Shang opened the cover, there was a thick book inside. There was no poison aura, but an extremely oppressive cold chi had suddenly attacked them, and the dried-up lake had suddenly turned into a world of ice and snow, the surroundings were filled with gigantic ice mountains. It was as if they had been teleported to another place, a world of ice and snow filled with cold. This is an illusory magic array. Lu Meng'er looked around, feeling the bone-piercing cold wind that was so real it was hard for her to confirm. Chapter 728. Chen Xiang and Lu Meng'er were suddenly struck by the frigid coldness, and their entire bodies shivered. Fortunately they possessed the fire soul. The fire energy released by it was able to dispel the severe cold. Warm moon. Lu Meng'er saw Dongfang Xinyue fall all of a sudden and could not help but be shocked. Even an expert like Dongfang Xinyue could be struck down by this kind of cold energy. It could be seen that this ice and snow was not simple. Lu Meng'er anxiously released the hot air and poured it into Dongfang Xinyue's body, allowing her to gradually recover. However, her face was completely pale and her body was trembling. Dongfang Xinyue was a master refiner. Even though she did not have a fire soul, her flames were not weak. It's so cold, the fire innate qi in my body has been completely frozen. Dongfang Xinyue's delicate body trembled non-stop, causing her to have no choice but to instill more heat into her. Right now, I am just like ordinary people. I cannot use the innate qi at all. Dongfang Xinyue was suddenly terrified, and suddenly lost his strength. This was a nightmare for every ranker. Lu Meng'er had this experience before. She looked at Chen Xiang for help, and although Chen Zhang's strength was weaker than theirs, Chen Xiang had always been their savior. What about the bone I gave you last time? Take it out and sit on it. It'll be fine. Chen Xiang knew that the icy cold power was very powerful. If he did not have the heaven fire soul, even his strong body would not be able to hold on. Dongfang Xinyue anxiously took out the vermilion bird bone from his storage ring, and with Lu Meng'er's support, he climbed up and sat on top of it. The vermilion bird bone was indeed the bones of the Inferno divine bird, allowing Dongfang Xinyue to quickly recover. I almost froze to death. These bones are really good stuff. Dongfang Xinyue gently caressed the vermilion bird bone as he praised. Dongfang Xinyue was now sure that Chen Xiang also possessed a fire soul, and it was a very powerful one as well, otherwise nothing would happen in this strange world of ice and snow. She was a warrior who had to undergo 8 tribulations in nirvana tribulations, but because she did not have a martial spirit, she was almost frozen to death. It seems like there's a mechanism within this box. Something like this happened the moment it was opened. Is this a type of test? Chen Xiang took out the book from the chest. This is the secret we sought from afar. Chen Xiang handed the book over to Lu Meng'er, and after Lu Meng'er received it, he read it together with him. As the two girls watched, their eyes couldn't help but widen. Their beautiful faces were filled with excitement, and after Chen Xiang shouted a few times, they both gave up, and sunk deep into their hearts. Chen Xiang couldn't help but look, and know that the book in the book was one of the erased spirit grain S. The place we are in right now is indeed an illusion formation, called the Great Formation of the Freezing Sky. The terrifying icy cold power is not an illusion, but it's an illusion created by the Great Formation. Only the things we see here are illusions, and if we can't break it, we can't escape. Dongfang Xinyue frowned. The method to deactivate the formation is in this book. This book contains many powerful formation methods, as well as a large amount of knowledge and experience in refining immortal equipment. There are even a divine artifact. Lu Meng'er's chest rose and fell, looking extremely excited. This was actually such a powerful book. Chen Xiang was extremely shocked. He guessed that the refining treasure book was just a small part of this book. How long will it take to break the formation? I still have a date. Chen Xiang anxiously shouted. If he stayed here for a year or so, he would be scolded to death by the Elder Dan when he returned. We are currently looking for a way to break through the array. There is a method to arrange the array, but there are some other unknown array formations mixed in. According to the book, the nameless array formations are also in this book, but there are too many large and small array formations in this book. It's very difficult to find them. Lu Meng'er now felt that it was extremely difficult. Let's take a look at the array foundation first. Dongfang Xinyue said. Chen Xiang also moved his head closer to the formation base. He wanted to see what the heavenly winter magic array looked like, but he couldn't understand it, because there was only a circle drawn on top of the book, and suddenly, there were many dense and messy little spirit grain S inside. If he were to look carefully, however, these spirit grain S had a certain pattern, and it would take a lot of effort for him to understand them. Chen Xiang also had a certain level of foundation for array formations, but he was completely confused by what he saw. No wonder these two beauties were thinking about it so hard. Dongfang Xinyue could not leave the vermilion bird bone, he could only drag the dragon bone away. He could not let Lu Meng'er drag it away, as there might be dangers inside, as Lu Meng'er was his only fighter. Dongfang Xinyue was like a big boss right now, making her feel extremely embarrassed. On the way there, she gently asked Chen Shang if he had worked hard. It should be here. Lu Meng'er compared to this book, looked around him. Even though he was surrounded by a vast expanse of white ice, and her could determine that. Suddenly, the surrounding scenery changed again. At this moment, the coldness was even more intense. However, the three of them were still able to withstand it. Just now, they seemed to have triggered another mechanism of the array, causing them to be at the top of a very high ice mountain. Just now, they seemed to have triggered another mechanism of the array, causing them to be at the top of a very high ice mountain. This kind of powerful illusion was something that even Long Shui, who had a very strong soul, couldn't see through. Chen Shang turned his head to look, and the surrounding scenery suddenly changed, allowing him to appear in a beautiful valley that was filled with the chirping of birds and the fragrance of flowers. Elder Sister Meng'er, where is Sister Warm Moon? Chen Shang was sitting on the grass, elegantly combing his jet black hair. Dongfang Xinyue had already disappeared. She went to break the formation and told me to stay behind to protect you. Lu Meng'er charmingly smiled at Chen Shang, his cheeks turning cherry red, making Chen Shang feel like he was intoxicated by the sight. If not for the presence of Dongfang Xinyue, he would have long ago become intimate with Lu Meng'er, and this was a good thing. Seeing Lu Meng'er's charming and seductive appearance, Chen Zhang's heart twitched. He hurriedly walked over and hugged Lu Meng'er, allowing her to gently hold on to her fragrant lips and her sweet tongue that made him yearn for her for many days, and continued to suck. Little scoundrel, I missed you so much. As Lu Meng'er kissed her, she whispered to herself softly and hugged Chen Shang even more tightly. As the two of them passionately kissed in this beautiful valley, Dongfang Xinyue was still at the top of the mountain peak where the cold wind was howling. Looking at Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er lingering in front of her, she couldn't help but be shocked, unable to believe that this was real, and her face couldn't help but turn slightly red. The confusion array, they had long since wanted to be like this with their lover. At this moment, deep within the great formation of infatuation, every single thought within their hearts would be as they wished. So they should be in their own fantasy now. Dongfang Xinyue's face became even redder. She did not expect herself to stop this pile of lovers from being intimate with each other. Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er were indeed deep inside their hearts in their fantasies, that was why their surroundings became a beautiful little valley. Dongfang Xinyue, the one who was in their way, was also not here, so they could get close to each other. Heavens, what are they trying to do? No, I'm still here. Dongfang Xinyue's heart started beating wildly, her breathing became hurried, and her face turned even more red. Because Chen Shang had already ripped off the hem of Lu Meng'er's clothes, and her bad hand was rubbing Lu Meng'er's snow-white rabbit. Chapter 729. The pair of big white rabbits on Lu Meng'er's chest had already completely jumped out and was being kneaded by Chen Zhang's big hand. Their lips, on the other hand, sucked each other's lips, making sounds of honey being sucked in. Waves of a delicate fragrance gushed out of Lu Meng'er's jade mouth along with a light groan, as if igniting Chen Zhang's evil fire, causing him to knead even more madly Lu Meng'er's sparkling snow peaks, and grip her pink lotus seeds. Dongfang Xinyue had long since noticed that Lu Meng'er was very close to her, but she didn't think that Chen Shang would put her wife's master. She really did not expect that Lu Meng'er would actually fall for her. If she did not personally see the two of them being so intimate, she would not have believed that Chen Shang, this brat, would actually be able to capture the heart of such a high and mighty female emperor. If this continues, they will definitely. At this moment, Dongfang Xinyue's mind was in a mess. She could not leave the vermilion bird bone, or else she would be frozen by the icy cold power. Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er's lips finally parted. Just when Dongfang Xinyue was about to heave a sigh of relief, she saw Lu Meng'er's misty eyes filled with lust, and knew that something even worse was about to happen. Chen Shang began to kiss Lu Meng'er's jade neck, and then continued to kiss it. Inside the large array of emotions, Lu Meng'er was also extremely excited at the moment. Her soft bosom stood up slightly, and when she felt Chen Shang sucking on it, she couldn't help but cry out. Looking at the chaotic scene, Dongfang Xinyue's face flushed red to her ears. She took a deep breath and anxiously flipped through the thick refining treasure book looking for a way to break the large array of emotions. Otherwise, Chen Shang and Lu Meng'er would have done something even more embarrassing. At this time, it was also a test for Dongfang Xinyue. Lu Meng'er's intoxicating moans floated over, every single time striking against her soul. Fortunately she was a woman, but she only felt a little bit embarrassed. Found it. After a moment, Dongfang Xinyue's face was filled with joy as she looked at the place that was filled with the color of spring. At this time, Chen Xiang was lovingly playing with Lu Menger's beautiful snowy mountain, while Lu Menger was looking at him shyly. The duo's bodies were crazily magnified in the huge magic formation, causing them to do things they did not dare to do before. Menger is so big, how could she be casually toyed with by a man, and, even giving it back for him to bite? What am I thinking? Dongfang Xinyue's mind was in a mess. She could finally see Chen Zhang's ability once again, to obtain both his body and mind. Master and disciple, this brat was truly evil, Menger had said it before. So that's the meaning behind his words. We're doomed, Dongfang Jing, this little idiot is definitely enchanted by him. As Dongfang Xinyue thought of this, she looked around and very quickly sensed that there was a very weak power in the distance. This is the source of power of the Great Formation. It should be enough to destroy it. Had already taken off Lu Menger's clothes from the upper half of his body, and the cherry blossom on the snowy peak was in her mouth. With a wave of her hand, the innate chi of fire that was condensed from the snow fell onto the source of the energy. Boom! Chen Xiang and Lu Menger suddenly felt a little cold. The beautiful valley had already disappeared, but Lu Menger suddenly became much more clear-headed, and when she turned her head to look, she saw Dongfang Xinyue looking at them with a flushed face. This made Lu Menger's beautiful face immediately flush red. Just as Chen Xiang was feeling satisfied, Lu Menger pinched his waist and made Chen Xiang shout out loud. He suddenly saw the scenery around him, saw Dongfang Xinyue sitting on the vermilion bird bone, and quickly realized what had happened. Only now did Lu Menger hurry up and put on her clothes, and hide her arrogant and tempting Xuanfang. Warm Moon, didn't you go to break the formation? Lu Menger blushed and lowered his head, asking with a low voice. Dongfang Xinyue turned his head around because Chen Xiang was currently staring at her, causing her to feel an inexplicable sense of fear. I just broke it, or otherwise. Chen Xiang was not that shy. After all, he had gotten addicted to it, but unfortunately he did not continue. Then you saw it all. Chen Xiang pretended to be embarrassed. Dongfang Xinyue lightly nodded his head. Even though I don't know how you all managed to get away with it, I won't tell anyone else. Chen Xiang coughed a few times. Sisters, you two better hurry up and break the array, if not who knows what will happen next. It was possible for anything. Dongfang Xinyue was also worried that he would fall into an even more dangerous array, maybe he would become like Lu Menger and her. Little scoundrel, it's useless no matter how we call you out just now, you're really into it. Su Meiyao's voice carried jealousy. Although she knew that Chen Xiang and Lu Menger were already close, she did not object, but when she looked, she could not help but feel a little uncomfortable. If it was you, I would have also invested. Chen Xiang laughed dumbly. HMPH. Dongfang Xinyue said. This is the array foundation, as long as we sense the source of the array's energy, we can destroy it and break it. The formation earlier was the same, but the formation is rather simple and crude, thus I was able to easily detect it. Chen Xiang looked at Dongfang Xinyue strangely, as if he was reprimanding him. HMPH, little scoundrel, don't let your imagination run wild. Lu Menger lightly pinched Chen Xiang and snorted. Of course she knew that Chen Xiang was blaming Dongfang Xinyue for spoiling his good fortune. Elder sister Menger, Shenxian already knew about the relationship between you and I. She's not stupid, she knew it long ago. Chen Xiang curled his lips and said. What, she actually already knew about it. Lu Menger's eyes opened wide, her jade face flushed red again. Shui Shenxian had pretended that she did not realize it, which meant that she acknowledged him. She did not know how to face Shui Shenxian, which was why she had always had a stone in her heart, but now, she did not need to worry at all. This sudden joy was accompanied by many complex emotions. Don't think too much into it. Let's first break the formation. Chen Xiang caressed her face and smiled. His smile was rather sinister, causing Lu Menger to spit on it. The source of the formation energy is nearby. There's a very weak spot. Once it's sensed, it can be destroyed and destroyed. Dongfang Xinyue said. He then flipped through the book and continued, Menger, come over here and take a look. Chapter 730. Chen Xiang didn't know what to do now, so he could only lie on the ice, and indulge in the fantasy while looking at the two beautiful girls. Little scoundrel, you're so hungry. Do you want this dragon to help you? Long Shui suddenly laughed. Sure, Chen Xiang immediately replied. He had always been thinking about the young girl's complexion and the devilish body of a beautiful dragon. You wish, Long Shui teased. Wait for a day when this dragon is in a good mood. Maybe it can, hee hee. This little dragon girl's laughter was filled with boundless charm, causing Chen Shang to be unperturbed in his heart. Without the blueprint for the array, I'm afraid we won't be able to find the base. However, even with the blueprint, it would be very difficult to find the weak point to break the array. Lu Meng'er said. The two girls continued to analyze the freezing sky illusion formation, but Chen Shang had no choice but to condense a creation divine liquid. It would not be bad for him to have more of these things. After a few days, the two girls finally found the place that broke the formation through the complex array blueprint. That weakness was very small, only as big as a needle, but it was still found by them. I'm going to attack the eye of the formation. Prepare yourself, Lu Meng'er said. Using her powerful innate qi, she condensed a thin needle and waved it, releasing it out, piercing into the needle-sized weakness. They appeared at the bottom of the dried-up lake. However, Dongfang Xinyue's face was filled with pain, her face was pale white, and her cherry lips had turned a deep purple. It was obvious that she had been poisoned. Cold poison. The icy cold power in the Great Frozen Cloud art had developed a type of cold poison, and after the Great Formation was broken through, it entered my body. Dongfang Xinyue said weakly. It looked like he was about to collapse. Bai Yuyu said anxiously, it's the ice soul devil poison from the demon world. This poison is only present under the magical corruption gas S, and it has a spiritual nature, which is used to seep into the bodies of those who do not have fire soul. Once someone dies from the poison, they will be able to devour the energy within their body and then slowly grow stronger. What should we do? Is there any hope? Chen Shang asked anxiously. If my sister was here, perhaps there would be a way. Bai Yuyu suddenly shouted. Yes, let her fuse with the fire soul. Su Meiyao sighed lightly. Give her the purple fire soul that you extracted from Tai Ming. I don't have the use of it right now, and furthermore, I'm not worried that I won't need it in the future. Lu Meng'er's hand, which was holding Dongfang Xinyue's, was able to release a large amount of heat, but it was only able to alleviate for a bit. Chen Shang took out the purple fire soul that contained the pearl. This purple fire soul was extremely expensive. He had originally planned to give it to Su Meiyao, but now that he wanted to use it to save people, he could only take it out. This is the purple fire soul. Elder sister Meng'er, help her fuse it. Chen Shang handed over the purple glowing pearl. Lu Meng'er was stunned. Chen Shang actually carried this thing with him. This was the purple fire soul. Even in the heaven realm, it was enough for people to rob it from him. Dongfang Xinyue originally thought that she was dead for sure, but when she saw Chen Shang take out the purple fire soul to save her, she was incomparably touched. She was very clear on the value of the purple fire soul, but Chen Shang was very straightforward to use it to save her. Not only was he able to live, he was even able to obtain the fire soul that she yearned for day and night. Lu Meng'er smashed the bead, using his consciousness to control your tyrannical fire soul, and let it enter Dongfang Xinyue's body. Dongfang Xinyue knew that fusing with the fire soul would be extremely painful. If she had a choice in the past, she would rather endure 10 times the pain for the sake of obtaining the fire soul. You have experience with this. You should guide her to fuse with the fire soul. It is faster than trying to figure it out for herself. Chen Shang came to Dongfang Xinyue's side and roughly pinched her tightly shut small mouth, then stuffed in a piece of earthly fruit. When fusing with the fire soul, the pain of eating a earthly fruit would lessen by a lot. Last time at the sacred Dan realm, Yun Zhu was like this when fusing with the earthly fruit. He wanted to confirm something. With regards to the experience of fusing with the fire soul, Chen Shang was much more experienced than the two great beauties in the mortal realm. After eating the earthly fruit, Dongfang Xinyue no longer felt that much pain, but there was still some pain. When fusing with the fire soul, you still need to avoid any conflicts with the congenital Kung Fu soul in your body. The fire soul needs to be completely merged with you, including your soul. Chen Shang said. Lu Meng'er began to recount her experiences while fusing with the fire soul, as well as some things that caught her attention. Dongfang Xinyue's speed of fusing with the fire soul was extremely fast, which was outside of Chen Zhang's expectations. S face was now very healthy, red and attractive, making people want to take a bite of him. Thank you, little scoundrel. Dongfang Xinyue laughed gently, his eyes full of gratitude. This fire soul is truly very precious. I really don't know how to repay you. Be my slave. Chen Shang laughed. This made Lu Meng'er stomp his foot hard. Be more honest. Lu Meng'er glared at Chen Shang with her beautiful eyes. Dongfang Xinyue smiled lightly. That charming smile was extremely intoxicating. If I become your female slave, Meng'er will definitely be jealous. Warm Moon, don't listen to this brat's nonsense. Lu Meng'er was a little worried that Dongfang Xinyue would agree. After all, there was Hua Shangyu as a precedent and Chen Shang was extremely mysterious. But I have to repay him. I can't take his fire soul for nothing. Dongfang Xinyue was really serious now, which made Chen Zhang's heart jump. He was joking to begin with, but if Dongfang Xinyue had agreed, he would have profited immensely, exchanging a fire soul for such a beautiful, powerful slave like her. It had to be known that when he obtained the fire soul, it was very easy, as he could make a lot more in the future. Ahem, I was just joking. Elder sister Warm Moon, please don't take it seriously. Although Chen Shang said that, he actually liked Dongfang Xinyue taking it seriously. He thought that if he could bring Hua Shangyu and Dongfang Xinyue, the two beautiful female slaves to serve him in the future, that feeling would explode from the bottom of his heart. Dongfang Xinyue was originally on the verge of death, suffering from the cold poison's torture. She was already in despair, but Chen Shang suddenly saved her. Not only did she not die, she even received a purple fire soul. Dongfang Xinyue had deeply felt the true meaning of these words. She had started to understand why Lu Meng'er had been captured by this little scoundrel, Chen Shang, both physically and mentally, because Chen Shang was really capable. Master-servant contract, and it's a life and death contract. Long Shui suddenly shouted. A ray of white light shot out from between Dongfang Xinyue's brows, entering Chen Zhang's soul. Was stunned, Lu Meng'er was also extremely shocked. A contract was also a form of array. It was extremely strange, and master-servant contract was indeed the simplest but also the most powerful type of contract, especially this type of life and death contract. You gave me my life. From now on, let me protect you. Dongfang Xinyue smiled sweetly and called out, Master. Chapter 731. Seeing the beautiful female slave being so obedient, Chen Shang felt like he was dreaming. Seeing the beautiful female slave being so obedient, Chen Shang felt like he was dreaming. This is too much of a joke. Chen Shang took a deep breath. He could not believe that master-servant contract was real. Sometimes women would squirm and squirm, but when they were refreshed, they made people shocked, just like when Dongfang Xinyue was in his current state. Lu Meng'er only let out a light snort. It was already too late for her to stop him, so it was useless to say anything now. Master, although I'm your slave, that doesn't mean you can do anything to me. Dongfang Xinyue smiled gently. It was a smile that was extremely ambiguous. Master, don't bully this slave. Chen Shang wanted to bully her, but he needed strength to do so. This beautiful female slave was much stronger than him. Hua Shangyu was charming and beautiful, Dongfang Xinyue was gentle and lovely, and to have these two beautiful female slaves, Chen Shang would definitely cause others to be jealous to death, but until now, only a few people knew about it. Meng'er, are you jealous? Dongfang Xinyue stuck out his tongue and laughed. No, yeah, a little, but you're not his first female slave. There's another little demoness who's much stronger than you. Hua Shangyu was not one bit inferior to this Dongfang Xinyue. Just when she wanted to find out more about her sister, that she had never seen before, the dry lake suddenly shook, and a loud sound of tidal waves could be heard. A large amount of water suddenly rushed out from an unknown place, and rushed towards the center from both sides of the lake. Hurry up! Lu Meng'er cried out in alarm as he and Dongfang Xinyue dragged each other and left the bottom of the lake at their fastest speed. Just as they ran away, a huge black hole suddenly appeared where they stood. The water that had always been rushing into the hole from both sides formed a whirlpool, spinning crazily. Standing on the surface of the lake, it looked like a giant beast was crazily devouring the lake. Fortunately, Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue were very fast. They were able to leave the bottom of the lake, and just as they heaved a sigh of relief, pieces of flaming stones suddenly fell from the sky, and every boulder was as big as a small mountain. The huge rock was burning with raging flames as it landed heavily on the ground. It exploded into a wave of scorching chi and waves of tremors. The rumbling sounds were incessant, as if the earth was roaring. That dragon is right, this place is really dangerous. There are powerful formations everywhere. Dongfang Xinyue said as he frowned. He then waved his hand and shattered a gigantic meteorite that was falling down from above. Seeing those fragments falling like countless meteors, Chen Shang felt that they were not an illusory magic array, but a genuine meteorite from another world. Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue pulled Chen Shang and ran. If they continued to stay here, they would be killed by those unknown formations. These formations should all be from the Divine Book. I think that someone must have stayed here for a very long time and even learned to set up the formations on it. That's why there are so many strange and powerful formations here. Dongfang Xinyue looked behind him at the place that seemed to be filled with countless natural disasters. His heart still had a lingering fear. This was a world of array formations. When they saw the ruins, they heaved a sigh of relief. Although this place had a dragon, it was much safer than the terrifying place they had come from. Dongfang Xinyue took out a 2-story wooden chest, and placed the Divine Book on the top shelf. This was a copy she made, it could be quickly copied. Munger, I originally wanted to give it to you. Dongfang Xinyue only wanted to enter a dungeon, and the many array formations inside were enough for her to learn for a very long time. Chen Shang also wanted to learn, but he had a headache thinking about those countless spirit grain. Furthermore, with his young age, it was difficult for him to study these complicated things. Furthermore, his current strength was still very weak, it would be difficult for him to control the large array. Sister Warm Moon, do you know what female slaves usually do for their masters? Chen Shang asked with a smile. What do you want to do? Dongfang Xinyue thought for a bit, her beautiful face was at a loss, and she shook her head. When I sleep, you have to warm my bed, you have to coax me to sleep. When I shower, you have to help me scrub my back, the best would be to bathe together with me. As Chen Shang just finished speaking, he felt Lu Munger emit a burst of ice-cold aura, causing him to quiver. This female slave is too strong. You can't control her. She is temporarily under my control. I will help you train her well. Lu Munger said with a serious face, making Chen Shang secretly look down on her. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. Yes, madam. Chen Shang sighed in his heart. He felt that if he wanted to truly obtain the 2 beautiful female slaves, he had to first make Lu Munger submit to him. Warm Moon, Shangyu, hee, it seems like you are born to be this young master's female slaves. Chen Shang laughed lowly. What, Hua Shangyu is your female slave? Dongfang Xinyue exclaimed. Yeah, she's the same as you, she also has master-servant contract like me, but it's just that she's temporarily not under my control. Chen Shang looked at Lu Munger in displeasure. Didn't I worry that you guys would play with fire? With your little strength, you will definitely be tormented to death by a little demon like Hua Shangyu. As Lu Munger said that, his face couldn't help but turn red, and his voice became much weaker. Those who train in innate qi, when men and women combine, they will unknowingly enter a strange state. No matter how head-on their innate qi is, when combined, it will always be perfectly compatible, but when the difference is huge, it will bring a great deal of harm to the weak. Chen Shang looked at Dongfang Xinyue, and Dongfang Xinyue's jade face was also red. She nodded. This is real, you don't know. Chen Shang shook his head. No one told me. Now you know, this is called dual cultivation. Lu Munger said in a low voice. Chen Shang now understood why Lu Munger and Hua Shangyu always tried to find an excuse not to let him eat them. Then why didn't Shenxian and I notice it when we were doing it? Chen Shang asked again, causing the 2 girls' faces to turn red again. They had lived for so long, yet they had never enjoyed such a feeling. You and Shenxian, do you do it often? Lu Munger's blush had already spread all over her jade neck. It was indeed very embarrassing for her master to ask about this sort of thing about disciples. No, it was just one night, sigh, Chen Shang sighed. It happened before you knew it, of course you wouldn't feel it, and it was only for one night. Lu Munger looked bashful as her voice became softer. Cough, cough, it's time to leave. Chen Shang felt that the atmosphere was extremely awkward. He anxiously changed the topic, and shouted towards the forest, Old dragon friend, do you want to go out for some fresh air? Chen Shang suddenly felt that this blue dragon was not bad. If he could befriend it, then he would have an even more powerful backer in the future. If I don't go out, the situation outside will be over. It's safer for me to hide here. The dragon had answered. Coward, Chen Shang snorted. HMPH, at least I'll live longer than idiots like you who aren't afraid of death. The dragon disdainfully said, hurry up and FK off. This is so noisy. They're all young people, yet they say such shameful things. How shameless. Chapter 732. Lu Munger and Dongfang Xinyue had become even redder after hearing what the others had said, but Chen Shang was fine. On the contrary, he was still indignant. Damn, you dragons, don't you all have different surnames? You even have the right to criticize us. Chen Zhang's face was unconvinced, and shouted. Just because dragons like to mess around, Demon beasts with dragon's blood gave Chen Shang a bad impression. Don't compare me with those noble dragons. Dragons with low status like us are all very clean. The dragon was also unwilling to accept this. But I've evolved from snake to dragon. Although I've fully transformed into dragon, I'm different from those noble dragons. Long Shui was currently very angry. As a stately imperial dragon race, he was actually looked down upon by this kind of inferior dragon. The world of dragons was similar to the world of humans. They were divided into different ranks and despised each other. Little scoundrel, scolding him to death is so infuriating. Long Shui crazily roared from inside the Yuyao Yugong, isn't it just that my luck is a bit better, that I can transform into a blue dragon? What's there to be arrogant about? Just wait for me to grow up, then I can smack him to death with a single claw. Quote. Chen Shang laughed, spinning the circle on the Luotian gate, opening a spatial door. Old dragon, my name is Chen Shang, I will come and play with you often. As Chen Shang said that, he pulled the two women and walked into the spatial gate. As they disappeared, Chen Shang heard the voice of the dragon, my name is Lan Kang, next time don't bring a woman. After leaving the super old sacred land, they appeared in the forest filled with giant trees. The illusion formation here was still there, which meant that the people of the Dongfang family were also here. Hurry up and leave this damned place. It seems like the treasures here will only attract people to play with their lives. Chen Shang once again turned the Luotian gate, and just as the dimensional door opened, a strange transparent chi suddenly attacked. The space gate disappeared, and the surrounding space was filled with all sorts of oppressive energy. This is the space warcraft. Long Shui suddenly shouted out anxiously with fear in his voice. This kind of thing grew up in those oppressive space tunnels, it's very powerful and can even make space chaotic. Now that all the mortal realms have fused together, the spatial tunnel has disappeared. The location where the space warcraft exists is becoming smaller and smaller, which is why they have appeared here. Following the start of the Great War between three realms, the space has become more and more unstable, allowing these things the chance to come into the human world. Chen Shang anxiously pulled the two girls. They were monsters that knew how to use spatial energy, and just as he was about to pull Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinyue, they suddenly disappeared. Elder Sister Menger, Sister Warm Moon. Chen Shang anxiously roared, but his voice was resounding all around. Little naughty dragon, have you discovered where they are? Chen Shang asked anxiously. No, but don't worry, they are still here. They were only screened by the space warcraft, which means that the space warcraft has to eat. It means that by seizing this space, it will be able to sense the stronger people in here and then separate them from the weaker ones. Long Shui said. And then, eating, this made Chen Shang even more anxious. Then, just wait for the space warcraft to be killed. This space warcraft is not very strong, otherwise, it would not hide in fear. Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinyue are both very strong, you don't have to worry about them. At first, Chen Shang did not understand why Long Shui made him worry about him, but he quickly received his answer, because he suddenly felt that the space in front of him was shifting, and when he stopped, he saw that there were a lot of people around him with faces full of fear and confusion. You weaklings have been gathered here. If the space warcraft can successfully eat those powerhouses, you will become its snacks. Long Shui laughed tenderly. No wonder that stupid dragon didn't dare to come out. He actually knows that there are space warcraft outside. It could be because the space warcraft appeared that activated the super old sacred lands array formation, causing the bloody Thunder Mountain Sea to be shrouded in a large array. This way, the space warcraft would have a hard time leaving the illusion array. Bai Yuyu said. This is the weak point in space, the one who set up the formation back then had thought everything through. Isn't that Chen Shang? Pairs of greedy eyes suddenly stared at Chen Shang. This was a 10 billion spar, it was just like how they appeared in front of them. If they teamed up and killed Chen Shang, they would split it among themselves. Dongfang Profoundlong's leg was previously broken by the death-haunting arrow, but now he had recovered. If he could kill Chen Shang, he would have even more prestige in the Dongfang clan, which would help him improve his position in the Dongfang family. The people here were all from below Nirvana stage, and the people above Nirvana stage were all taken away by the space warcraft through teleportation. All of you, come at me one at a time. Chen Shang was not afraid at all. Clenching his fists, his dragon power appeared and the ground trembled. The surrounding trees immediately cracked and those who had thoughts were immediately terrified, they quickly gave up on the idea. Not only did they not go up, they backed off, and the place Chen Shang was in became an empty area, with over 3,000 people surrounding him. To the people of the New World, there were not many of them, but most of them were pretty strong. Looking at the clothes these people were wearing, most of them were from influential powers, and they all came together. Most of them belonged to the devil-subduing college and fire divine palace, and most of them belonged to the Dongfang family. Seeing the terrifying dragon power on Chen Zhang's body, everyone whispered to each other. Everyone already knew about Chen Shang cultivating the Taiji dragon suppressed Kung Fu. To be able to spread such a name in the mortal martial realm, he must be powerful. If he did not have any ability, it would be difficult to defeat Chen Shang. Many people did not dare to take action, but there was still a small number of people who were ready to make a move. These people were all very confident in their own strength, and most of them were geniuses from large sects. That's disappointing. Let me do it. Although our sect is ranked second in this new world, our strength is definitely not just second. A man dressed in a luxurious golden attire slowly walked out from the crowd, holding a dazzling sword in his hand. This man was extremely handsome. He had a faint smile on his face and his demeanor was refined. The moment he appeared, a few women looked at him with adoration. The gold-armored sword sect is ranked second in the New World. It is very impressive with the sword, and the leader is also a very amazing refiner. It is said that he is stronger than Dongfang Xinyue. A person in the crowd exclaimed. Chapter 733. Earlier, Chen Shang had already chased away the third-ranked Thunder Heaven School. He did not expect to meet a sect ranked second. Lu Shanqing, the young master Dongfang and the people from the number 1 sect are all here. How can you steal the limelight from others? Someone shouted. Lu Shanqing was someone from the Golden Hero Sword sect. Of course, Chen Shang had never heard of him before, but he knew that this name would be extremely famous in this new world, and it was far from his name. Sure enough, when the crowd heard this name, they all cried out in alarm. The one who got the number 1 sword in the Jin House Sword sect. It is said that the Jin House sword in his hand was left behind by the patriarch of the Jin House Sword sect when he ascended. It has been tempered by the 9th nirvana, and it is almost like an immortal weapon. If you take it to the auction, it would be worth at least 8 to a billion spar. It wouldn't be difficult to raise it to 10 billion. This should be the first sword attack of this new world. Seeing that everyone was discussing about the gold-plated sword, Lu Shanqing had a face full of pride. He looked at Dongfang Profoundlong from the Dongfang family and smiled slightly. Brother Dongfang, if you also want this 10 billion bounty, when you defeat me, I will give it to you. This Lu Shanqing spoke so casually, as if he could beat Chen Shang. His expression of confidence did not make anyone sick. If they killed Chen Shang, not only would they be able to obtain 10 billion spar, they would also be able to become famous throughout the world. Lu Shanqing slowly pulled out his sword, the sword body releasing a piercing cold light, a sharp killing intent accompanied with the sword body trembling and gushing out, causing everyone to feel even more shocked by the top sword in the new world. This was a treasured sword that had been passed down for many years, and had drank the blood of many strong warriors before, so the number of people who died under it would definitely be many. I am Lu Xian from the Gold Hero Sword sect. Really, who cares about your name? As Chen Shang said that, he punched the air, the power of the fist gushed out, rushing towards Lu Shanqing, while the ground followed the force of the fist. With a crackling sound, it exploded, as though it was pierced by a dragon. Lu Shanqing was infuriated. She faced the incoming force and thrusted her sword, causing the sword chi on the tip of the sword to surge out. A powerful burst of golden innate chi poured into the gold hero sword, and on the sword's body that was radiating a cold light, it suddenly flashed with a gold light, and the innate chi released out from the sword became even more powerful. Wang, the golden greatsword vibrated slightly. The melodious sound was so enchanting that it made people feel that it was even more precious than the golden greatsword. After Chen Shang threw out his punch, he rushed forward, his fists wrapped with the body of the god of slaughterers. Slaughter god's hand, whatever treasure sword and immortal sword they were all nothing in front of this white tiger divine weapon. The innate chi rushed into the slaughter god's hand, causing Chen Zhang's claws to become even more powerful, as though he could grab onto and shatter everything in the world. Seeing Chen Zhang's hands suddenly filled with a fiendish aura, everyone could not help but feel chills down their spines. Although Lu Shanqing was shocked, he reacted very quickly. Slashing towards Chen Shang, the sword left behind a gorgeous beam of golden light in the midst of the hurried killing intent. An aura even more powerful than the killing intent shooting out from the sword seemed to be able to cut through space. This was Lu Shanqing's powerful sword strike, but it was not as powerful as everyone thought. This was because the longsword that was glowing with golden light had fallen into Chen Zhang's hands and was firmly held there by Chen Shang. That unfathomable grab made it hard for everyone to understand. It was as if Chen Zhang's hand was born with an attraction and sucked Lu Shanqing's sword over, allowing him to grasp the timing and strength extremely accurately. The most shocking thing was that this number one treasure sword in this new world would actually be grabbed by someone else. Shame. This was the shame of the number one treasured sword in the new world, the humiliation of the Jin House sword sect. Lu Shanqing was immediately enraged. His refined white face was filled with killing intent, the veins on his face bulged, making him look extremely sinister, because he knew that he had destroyed the sword's reputation. Just as everyone was feeling extremely shocked, Chen Zhang's big hand that was covered in white gloves suddenly flashed with a white light. The berserk dragon power rushed out, and everyone seemed to be able to hear the roar of a dragon. Ding! A crisp sound rang through the air. Everyone was stunned, as if time had stopped. That golden sword had been broken. The number one sword in the entire new world was broken by Chen Shang just like that, causing Lu Shanqing to be completely dumbstruck. This was the gold-armored sword sect's mountain-suppressing treasure. He was only rewarded with the use of it for 100 years because he was an outstanding talent to actually destroy it now. Although it was only the first level of devil-subduing method, it was created using the dragon power. With its might that could cover the entire sky, Chen Shang, who was in a daze, was struck until he did not know his own direction, and his head was smashed into the ground. Sword Destroyer lost miserably, while Chen Shang only revealed a few moves. Originally, everyone thought that Lu Shanqing was just using his treasured sword to bully people, but now. In fact, Chen Shang bullied others even more. After thinking about it, he felt that it was extremely cruel to use such a divine item to break someone's lifelike thing. However, he liked to deal with these people who wanted to take his head. My head is here, whoever wants it can take it. Chen Shang held the broken golden greatsword in his hand and released a berserk dragon power. Using the slaughter god's hand, he twisted the sword into a ball and fiercely smashed it into the ground, creating a huge pit. When everyone saw Chen Zhang's pair of calm but murderous eyes, they could not help but shiver. Take his head, forget about his head, whether he could even touch her hair was one thing. Lu Shanqing's strength was probably strong enough, with the powerful treasured sword, but he was slapped by Chen Shang until he was like a dog eating shit, who would dare to go up against him. He was only waiting to see what would happen. He felt that he would have to wait until Chen Shang had exhausted most of his energy before going up, otherwise, he would end up like Lu Shanqing. No one dared to duel one-on-one, but if more people joined hands, they might be able to win. 2 against 1, this was something that would be looked down upon. But now, no one looked down on those two, because Chen Shang was too strong. He definitely wouldn't be able to beat him alone, but if it was 2, then maybe it would be possible. I thought that there would be a good opponent in this new world, I didn't expect that they would all be trash. Chen Shang coldly snorted. Within the 100 refining realm, he did indeed have very few opponents. Great strength duo Shang, great strength gate. Very quickly, someone recognized the two men. Giant strength gate, ranked 5th in the new world. Chen Zhang's super martial school does not have a ranking, but he easily defeated the sect's second-ranked disciple. Quote, was not afraid of the two of them fighting together, since he had the time now, he might as well train with it. Chapter 734. Great Strength Sect. The moment they heard the name, they immediately knew that the people in the sect were cultivating a type of martial arts that allowed them to be extremely powerful. This great strength duo Shang's body looked to be stronger than most of the 100 refining realms warriors, and his physique was also outstanding. Unlike Lu Shanqing's, who was without the golden greatsword, his strength was greatly reduced. You all want to attack together? Chen Shang asked. The two big men gave him a sense of masculinity. He did not seem like the type of person who would take advantage of others. Of course not, one of the taller men said, and he put away his giant axe. I just don't want anyone to disrupt the fairness of the fight between us. I will make my junior brother look good and not let others plot against him. He looked at Chen Shang. How about we compete in terms of physical strength? Chen Shang smiled slightly. In terms of physical strength, he felt that there were very few people in mortal realm that could beat him. I am from the Giant Strength Sect. Bao Li cupped his hands towards Chen Shang. From the looks of it, he only wanted to exchange pointers with Chen Shang, and not take the bounty. When he was watching the battle between Chen Shang and Chen Shang, he realized that his body was strong, and thus his heart burned with fighting spirit. Let's fight. Chen Shang kept the white tiger gloves. The other party was a good person, he did not want to take advantage of them. Receive my attack. With a loud roar from Bao Li, the thunderous roar shook the forest and caused all the birds in the forest to leap into the air. Looking at this berserk bull that looked like an angry bull running towards him, Chen Shang praised in his heart. It was not easy to cultivate one's body to such an extent. Just the strength of his fleshly body was so strong, it made many young warriors, who mainly trained in innate qi, shocked. If it was said that only the strength of the fleshly body, other than Chen Shang, no one else would dare compete with him. Bao Li did not use the power of the innate qi, so his speed naturally decreased by a lot, but it was still quite impressive. When his iron fist struck down, it even made a sound like it was hitting the air, which was very scary. As the fist struck towards Chen Zhang's chest, Chen Shang didn't dodge or block it at all. He also struck back with his fist, the speed of his punch being slightly faster than Bao Li's, to the point that when Bao Li's fist had just touched Chen Zhang's clothes, his fist had already struck his chest. With a dull boom, Chen Zhang's fist carried a strong force as it violently smashed into Bao Li's large body that was like steel. Bao Li let out a low snort and retreated a few steps, as blood involuntarily flowed out from the corner of his mouth. It was just a single punch, but without using innate qi, he managed to injure the tyrannical body. This caused everyone to be dumbstruck. Chen Zhang's body was actually also very strong. I've lost. When Bao Li was speaking, he spat out a large mouthful of blood. He could tell that Chen Shang had already shown mercy, otherwise, he would not be able to stand up now. Bao Li was supported by his junior brother into the crowd. The strength that Chen Shang had displayed was more and more shocking, and it was no wonder that he had the ability to kill Dongfang Yao. 10 billion spar, there are actually so many stupid pigs giving up for that F*C king morals. A sinister voice came out, whoosh whoosh whoosh, a dozen or so skinny men in black robes and silver masks, suddenly descended from the sky, and surrounded Chen Shang. Ghost Killing School, this is a sect that specializes in training cold-blooded assassins, and is ranked 9th in the New World's rankings. It is said that their names are all numbers, and no one knows the identity of any of the disciples in Ghost Killing School. It is said that there are only 100 silver-masked ghost killer in the Ghost Killing School, and 10 of them are enough to kill a ranker who had just entered the Nirvana stage. The strongest in the Ghost Killing School is the Golden Face Ghost Killer, and the weakest is the Tungsten-Faced Ghost Killer. Shocked discussions sounded out from the crowd. Had heard of this Ghost Killing School before. When he was wandering around Sky Emperor City, he had heard many people talking about it. This was an extremely outstanding assassination organization. The weakest was a wooden mask, then an iron mask. Chen Shang was surrounded by 10 silver-faced ghost killers. As long as there were spars, these killers, regardless of whether they were women or children, would all attack viciously. There were many assassins in the Assassin's Guild that had bottoms, but none in the Ghost Killing School. As long as they had spars, they would kill everyone. What about Chen Shang who has 10 billion spars? Seeing Chen Shang being surrounded by these 10 silver-faced ghost killer, everyone felt chills down their spines, because they did not realize that there was a ghost killer here earlier, and so many people did not notice their existence. The ghost killer was an assassin with a strong concealment ability. If they were discovered, they were not worthy to be the silver-faced ghost killer. Very few people had seen the ghost killer take action, because those that they had seen were basically all dead, and now they had to do it in front of so many people. This caused many people to be afraid that the ghost killer would make a move on them after he killed Chen Shang, even though there were thousands of people watching. A silver-faced ghost killer suddenly made a hand gesture, and 4 of them disappeared, leaving with an extremely fast speed, while the remaining 6 surrounded Chen Shang. Holding a very thin and long sharp needle, they pierced towards Chen Shang. Whoosh! The 6 places that he had stabbed out were also extremely deadly. If he had been stabbed in one place, even if he didn't die, he would still be seriously injured. What was even more frightening was the poison smeared on all 6 of the needles. This was the first time Chen Shang had encountered a group attack with such speed. No matter how fast he was, it was difficult to escape, and the innate qi in his body did not even have time to explode, as the 6 needles had already pierced towards him. When they saw that Chen Shang was about to be pierced through to death by the needles, everyone broke out in a cold sweat. However, the 6 needles were disappointing, because they only pierced through his clothes and not his body. Chen Shang was someone who possessed a divine tool like the profound Wu diamond armor. If he was pierced by these 6 ordinary weapons, the person who created the profound Wu diamond armor back then would have been killed. Therefore, Chen Shang knew that even if he couldn't dodge it, nothing would happen to him. The silver-masked ghost killer was indeed strong, trained well, and had a tacit understanding with each other, making people tremble with fear upon seeing him. Everyone believed that if they were to be attacked like this, they would definitely die. Even though the 6 needles failed, the 4 silver-masked ghost killers that had just disappeared immediately appeared and continued to attack Chen Zhang's head with them. Their speed was extremely fast, and it only happened the instant after the 6 silver-masked ghost killers failed. Chen Shang had long since prepared himself for the 4 silver-faced ghost killers who had disappeared just now. When the 4 long needles pierced towards his head, the 4 water vines became even faster, and just as the 4 long needles were about to touch Chen Zhang's hair, they caught up with the 4 silver-faced ghost killers, and with a fierce tug of the water vines, smashed the 4 silver-faced ghost killers to the ground. The 6 silver-faced ghost killers had already retreated away from Chen Zhang's attack range. Although 4 of their companions were grabbed by Chen Shang, they did not have any intention to save him. The water ball exploded before it could even touch Chen Shang, sending waves of water splashing everywhere, splashing Chen Zhang's entire body. "It's highly toxic," a person shouted in shock as he retreated a few steps. Chapter 735. When the clear water fell onto the 4 silver-masked ghost killers' bodies that were entangled by water vines, the 4 silver-masked ghost killers suddenly let out heart-wrenching sounds, and then turned into a pool of blood. Upon contact, the surrounding trees immediately withered and died, and the fallen leaves were all black. Seeing that, everyone quickly distanced themselves from the place where the water ball exploded, worried that the poison would spread over from the air. Many of them held their breaths, releasing a Nate cheese barrier. They were worried that the silver-masked ghost killer would be killed. "Not bad, you know how to use such a powerful poison." Chen Shang wiped off the poison that was on his face. He looked like a chicken that had just been splashed with water. How did he look like someone who had been splashed with the poison? Everyone watched dumbstruck. They had personally witnessed the 4 silver-masked ghost killers on the ground being turned into a pool of blood by the poison, leaving behind only their silver masks. However, Chen Shang was still unharmed. Their poison was actually useless against Chen Shang, which was also what they relied on the most. Their innate chi might not be too strong, but they specialized in speed and poison, which was why their ghost-killing school had the most outstanding poison master, which was why their ghost-killing school had become so powerful. Just as they wanted to escape, they felt a chill run through their bodies. The water vines wrapped around their bodies, preventing them from moving. Chen Zhang's technique was still very useful, especially against those who were weaker than the tyrannical warriors. It was very deadly. As long as they were caught in it, it would be hard for them to escape. The 6 silver-masked ghost killer were hidden together by the water vines and then slowly dragged over. With a wave of Chen Zhang's hand, the poisonous water that fell to the ground a moment ago gathered together and gathered into Chen Zhang's palm. "You guys are really ruthless. In order to achieve your goals, you don't even want your companions." The cluster of poisonous water on Chen Zhang's palm miraculously floated around, causing the silver-masked ghost killers to tremble from head to toe when they saw it. Everyone could see that Chen Shang was going to use the poison to kill the 6 silver-masked ghost killers. As expected, just as the 6 silver-masked ghost killers cried out for mercy, the poison had already exploded on top of their heads. Under the bindings of Chen Zhang's water vines, these 6 silver-masked ghost killer let out miserable howls, as their bodies were slowly corroded by the poison and turned into a pool of black blood. At the same time, they besieged Chen Shang, making him look like a drowned chicken, but in the end, all that was left of his corpse and bones. Although Chen Shang did not have that frightening silver mask on his face, his faint smile made people even more terrified. "Young Master Dongfang, we meet again. The last time you stabbed your father in the back, it was really hard to forget. From the looks of it, you did it pretty well." Chen Shang walked towards Dongfang Profoundlong with a smile. The matter of Dongfang Profoundlong tricking his father had long become a topic of discussion in this new world. Many people could tell that Dongfang Chaochun had seized this opportunity to incite them, and in order to not be purged by Dongfang Lingyun, Dongfang Profoundlong did not hesitate to betray his father in order to become the clan chief in the future. Of course, there were other secrets as well. Last time, Chen Shang had used his death-haunting arrow to secretly shoot at Dongfang Profoundlong's thigh, but Chen Shang did not feel that it had caused any mental trauma for Dongfang Profoundlong, because he had used the role model Huang Jintian, this crazy old man, to scare him. In Dongfang Profoundlong's eyes, being ambushed by someone who was strong was something to be proud of. Right now, Chen Shang wanted to make Dongfang Profoundlong feel guilty, and at the same time, wanted to make the Dongfang family to waste more pills to save Dongfang Profoundlong, because the Dongfang family's patriarch only had one bloodline that he could inherit. Chen Shang felt that if he was lucky, the Dongfang family's bounty on him might even increase a little. Now that there were so many people watching, if young Master Dongfang got ravaged and Dongfang Lingyun didn't make a sound, he would definitely be underestimated. Chen Shang, you killed my twin brother. Do you still want to kill me? Dongfang Profoundlong's face was ice cold, not the slightest bit of fear. A man like you, would you care about your dead brother? You even dare to poke at your father, what do you care about kinship? Chen Shang laughed coldly. There were truly many guards by young Master Dongfang's side, and they were all powerful, more than 20 in total. HMPH, to deal with a traitor, you have to be ruthless. Even if he is my father, as the successor of the Dongfang family, I will not let him off so easily. I will sell out my Dongfang family for my own personal gain. Dongfang Profoundlong's words were filled with righteousness and vigor, and it seemed that he really meant what he said. However, Chen Shang did not believe it at all. Anyone who knew Dongfang Chaochun in the slightest would know that Dongfang Chaochun would definitely not sell the Dongfang family. It was entirely possible that it was Dongfang Lingyun and Dongfang Profoundlong. What a tough mouth, hee hee. Chen Shang suddenly laughed sinisterly. His soul-absorbing devil spell could make people speak the truth, but the problem was that he had to let go of young Master Dongfang's bodyguard first. Arrest him. Seeing Chen Shang coming towards him step by step, Dongfang Profoundlong anxiously shouted, and the 20 bodyguards immediately ran towards Chen Shang, waving their blades and swords, activating innate qi, starting to attack with all their might. Everyone could not help but admire the strength of the Dongfang family. That thick and violent innate qi made many people frightened. Tai Chi Dragon Formation. Chen Zhang's face sank, his hands started to dance wildly, and from beneath his feet, waves after waves of terrifying dragon power surged out, turning into many thin and long white dragons and black dragons, revolving around his feet, and quickly swimming in 2 different directions. They formed into a 10 feet wide yin-yang taiji array, and started to quickly spin under his feet. The 20 people who were attacking suddenly increased in speed, but they were not under their control, and flew towards Chen Shang, the weapons in their hands flying out first, and after entering the Tai Chi Dragon formation below Chen Zhang's feet, they were all twisted and damaged, some had even exploded. One must know that the power within the Tai Chi Dragon formation was compressed by a large amount of dragon power. After being strengthened by the profound formation, it became extremely terrifying. It was a technique from the Taiji Dragon suppressed Kung Fu, but it consumed a lot of the innate qi and required a large amount of it to support it. When young Master Dongfang's 20 bodyguards saw the outcome of those weapons, they were overwhelmed with shock, but it was already too late. The innate qi in their bodies were affected by the strong suction force, causing chaos and violence, and he couldn't control them. After the 20 people were sucked into the Tai Chi Dragon formation by Chen Shang, their bodies immediately emitted a "gege" sound of their bones shattering. Their bodies were similar to the swords and sabers, they were all broken and bent. Chapter 736. Everyone decided in their hearts that when they saw it with their own eyes, they would become even stronger. In the future, when they saw Chen Shang, they would definitely not show any hostility, or else they would be like the people inside the Tai Chi Dragon formation. In merely an instant, Chen Shang used 30% of his innate qi. For someone like him, who had a thick innate qi, this was a huge consumption of his energy. The 20 elites of the Dongfang family were taken care of just like that. Their bones were almost all broken. Although they did not die, they suffered serious injuries. Dongfang Profoundlong originally wanted to run, but after seeing that all his bodyguards had been taken care of, he knew that he wouldn't have the chance to. It was only natural for Chen Shang to attack Dongfang Profoundlong, who asked the Dongfang family to place a 10 billion bounty on Chen Shang. And now that Chen Shang had such a good opportunity to deal with him, he would definitely not be lenient. Dongfang Profoundlong was a little afraid in his heart, but he could not let his reputation lose here. He took out a sharp sword, and saw that it was actually a pretty good grade treasure. You didn't run away, that's really out of my expectations. Chen Shang sneered as he walked over. Now that there were so many people watching, he definitely had to make this Dongfang Profoundlong spew out the matter of him cheating his father and son. Our Dongfang family issued a bounty, we never thought of doing it ourselves, so as to not let others say that our Dongfang family didn't pay the price, but now you're the one who forced me to do it. Today, let's call it quits. Dongfang Profoundlong had a very confident look on his face, as if he could pierce through Chen Zhang's throat with his sword. That sounds good, but I'm not your father, so don't think about stabbing me in the back. Chen Shang laughed heartily. Of course, even if you recognize me as your father, I won't take you in, lest I get cheated by you. Dongfang Profoundlong suddenly laughed out loud. Chen Shang, you are truly arrogant. The fact that my Dongfang family can stand on this new world and become the #1 clan, the strongest power, this is not a coincidence. Don't think that just because you learned a powerful mystical technique, you think that you can be so arrogant. Don't look down on me. As the strongest member of the Dongfang family, for the glory of the family, even if I have to sacrifice my life, I will not lose. I am not afraid of death. The honor of the family is more important than my life, and when my father betrayed the family, I had to endure excruciating pain to kill him. Chen Shang, you have insulted my family many times, but today, I will use your blood to wash away all of this. His words were full of arrogance, causing others to silently admire him, but Chen Shang knew that what he said was all nonsense. Chen Shang suddenly flashed. His speed was extremely fast. Dongfang Profoundlong only saw a shadow flash by, followed by a burning pain on his face. Everyone originally had a little admiration for Dongfang Profoundlong. They were just planning to see how he would fight with Chen Shang, but who knew that the self-confident Dongfang Profoundlong would actually be ruthlessly slapped in the face by Chen Shang. Dongfang Profoundlong's glorious image in the hearts of everyone suddenly plummeted. Is this young Master Dongfang? How is this possible? To have one of his teeth knocked out with a single slap, wasn't that a little too weak? Chen Shang, you, shameless, you dare to plot against me. Dongfang Profoundlong looked at the teeth on the ground, which were lying on a pool of blood, and felt incomparable rage. Originally, he had a lot of words to say to enrich his image, but Chen Shang didn't let him say anything. Chen Shang had to admit that this Dongfang Profoundlong's mouth was indeed quite sharp. His ability to fool and act was top-notch. If he hadn't personally witnessed Dongfang Profoundlong sneakily attacking his father from behind, he would definitely have been fooled as well. Who asked you to speak so much nonsense? Chen Shang coldly snorted. Don't you know that when you're facing your enemies, you can't slack in the slightest? I, Dongfang Profoundlong, have always competed fairly with others, and only a despicable, shameless and despicable person like you would do such a thing. Dongfang Profoundlong surprisingly wiped away the blood from the corner of his mouth with an extremely calm and collected expression. Chen Shang suddenly felt that the little fool Dongfang Jing was most likely being duped by her big brother. Chen Shang, look at the sword. Dongfang Profoundlong shouted loudly. When competing with others, letting them see his moves was indeed a very upright action. Of course, Dongfang Profoundlong was not a fool like that. He was first to stab the sword and then shout, and his sword was much faster than his mouth. When he stabbed forward, his voice had just reached everyone's ears, but it seemed like he was really reminding Chen Shang. Just as he was about to use the profound gang finger to break the sword tip, he suddenly felt a resistance. One must know that he was wearing a white tiger gloves on his body right now, and with the power of the slaughter god's hand, even if he did not use the dragon power, he could still break all of those powerful treasures easily. However, this sword did not exist. He realized that the quality of this sword was far better than the one he had twisted into a ball. Dongfang Profoundlong's forehead started to perspire. He did not expect Chen Zhang's fingers to be so powerful, grabbing onto the sword tip, preventing him from pulling it out. Humph! Chen Shang suddenly grabbed onto the sword blade, slipped, and directly slid onto the sword hilt, releasing a strong burst of energy, producing a huge impact. Chen Shang directly grabbed onto the sword and used the sword hilt to ruthlessly stab Dongfang Profoundlong, and then seized the sword. This is something that Dongfang Xinyue refined. The quality is not bad, it is much better than that bullshit TTY golden greatsword. Chen Shang looked at this sword. Dongfang Xinyue had indeed given a lot for the Dongfang family and had expended a lot of effort to refine weapons for their families. However, in the end, he had the reputation of a traitor to his family. After he kept his sword, Dongfang Profoundlong suddenly attacked ferociously. His fists were extremely powerful, the innate chi roared, and when he punched over, it was like a roaring lion, heavily smashing onto Chen Zhang's face. Dongfang Profoundlong was secretly happy. Just as he revealed a surprised look on his face, it immediately disappeared, because not only did Chen Shang not lose his teeth and vomit blood, he did not even turn his head. I'm not like you. I'm not someone who would be casually ambushed by others. Chen Shang laughed sinisterly, the innate chi on his fist turned into a white tiger head filled with killing intent, letting out a terrifying roar. It smashed towards Dongfang Profoundlong's face. Ah! Dongfang Profoundlong let out a blood-curdling scream. Chen Zhang's fast and fierce white tiger god fist smashed into Dongfang Profoundlong's nose, smashing his nose down, causing blood to flow out. Chapter 737. At that time, Chen Shang thought that Dongfang Jing was very strong, but now that he saw Dongfang Profoundlong's strength, he understood why that little idiot Dongfang Jing could win against Dongfang Profoundlong, because Dongfang Profoundlong only had a strong mouth. Although Dongfang Profoundlong's cultivation was not bad, and the innate chi was also very rich, he still had very little experience in actual combat, and was even worse than his younger brother, Dongfang Yao. Dongfang Profoundlong came from a distinguished background, and had never suffered through anything since he was young. He had only cultivated by relying on pills, and he had never suffered like this before. He never thought that his beautiful nose would be smashed by someone else. Dongfang Profoundlong was so angry that he couldn't speak. Actually, even if he was given a chance to speak, he didn't want to speak because the moment he spoke, his nose would hurt and his teeth would fall. Young Master Dongfang, didn't you say that you won't rest until we die? Didn't you say that for the sake of our family's glory, we can even forsake our lives? You have destroyed the honor of your Dongfang family, why don't you just die? Chen Shang looked at Dongfang Profoundlong who was covering his nose, and approached him step by step. Chen Shang, 10 years is not too late for a gentleman's revenge. As long as I, Dongfang Profoundlong, do not die, there will be a day when I will seek your revenge. The glory of the Dongfang family will never be ruined by me. Dongfang Profoundlong covered his nose, and said some impassioned words. Everyone could see that Dongfang Profoundlong was only good at talking, and the others were not strong enough, but now they looked at him as if he was a joke. Glory! Chen Shang slapped out his palm, the strong tremors caused the ground to crack, the force of the heaven-blasting palm enveloped Dongfang Profoundlong, the force of the palm hit Dongfang Profoundlong's face, causing the blood in Dongfang Profoundlong's body to surge. The blood and energy in his body surged, it sprayed out of his mouth. At the same time, Dongfang Profoundlong's teeth had shattered from the shock, and he flew out together with the blood tiger. You think someone like you, who sold his father for honor, is worthy of talking about glory? Not only did you not help your father fight against the Dongfang Lingyun who suppressed your clan leader's bloodline, you even came to harm your father. Do you know how powerful the weapon refined by Dongfang Xinyue was? She could easily make a whole bunch of those bull-asterisk T-gold great swords, but she was forced by Dongfang Lingyun to become enemies with the Dongfang family. They were originally the glory of the Dongfang family. Quote. What Chen Shang said was all true. Dongfang Xinyue's smithing skills, even Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were all praising him. Such a talent would affect Dongfang Lingyun's governance in the Dongfang family, and would definitely be taken away. Didn't you want your father to die quickly so that you could become the next patriarch? Sooner or later, both your father and Dongfang Lingyun will ascend to the sky. When that happens, the Dongfang family will be yours. Chen Shang struck the top of Dongfang Profoundlong's head with his palm, activating soul-absorbing devil spell to search through his memories. After all, Dongfang Chaochun and Dongfang Xinyue possessed the bloodline of the Dongfang clan's patriarch and the Dongfang family was theirs. They had no reason to betray their own family that they were in charge of, so there was no need to. So that's how it is. Chen Shang was slightly shocked in his heart. Not only was Dongfang Profoundlong scheming against his father to quickly obtain the position of patriarch, there were actually other reasons as well. To be honest, why did you do this to your father? Chen Shang asked. When people used soul-absorbing devil spell, they would always answer whenever they were asked a question, and they would even speak the truth. Because I want to quickly obtain the patriarch's position and the patriarch's blood soul. That way, I can quickly become stronger. Dongfang Profoundlong said. Everyone was shocked. Dongfang Profoundlong actually admitted to it. However, everyone was very curious about what the patriarch's blood soul was. Chen Shang also satisfied everyone's curiosity, and asked immediately, what is the patriarch blood soul? It said that it's the soul of the god blood. It's said that it's used only when the patriarch is in the Nirvana Doom, so the person can't die while crossing the Nirvana Doom, and it's placed in the family's treasure grounds. Nirvana Doom was the nightmare of countless warriors. With this, wouldn't they be able to cultivate to the next level without a hitch? Then did you get the patriarch's blood soul? Where is the patriarch's blood soul now? Chen Shang asked again. No, the Patriarch's blood soul is being guarded by Dongfang Lingyun. He wants to use the Patriarch's blood soul to fly to the heaven realm through the 9 nirvana tribulations, because as long as the Patriarch of the Dongfang family ascends or dies, the blood soul will follow the Patriarch. At that time, the new Patriarch's blood soul will descend onto the new Patriarch, and the Patriarch can use it with the members who possess the Patriarch's bloodline. The Patriarch's blood was indeed a miraculous thing, no wonder Dongfang Lingyun did whatever it took to get the Patriarch. Since you possess the bloodline of the Patriarch, you will definitely be able to use the Patriarch's blood soul to travel through the Nirvana doom in the future. Why did you betray your father? Chen Shang asked. In fact, the Patriarch's blood soul can only be used by people of our Patriarch's bloodline, but my Patriarch's bloodline is unexpectedly thin, and only by fusing with the blood in my father's body can I use the Patriarch's blood soul. Dongfang Jing and Dongfang Xinyue are the blood of females, so they are not suitable for me to use, so maybe their Patriarch's bloodline is not pure either. Dongfang Lingyun and Dongfang Profoundlong were doing it for the Patriarch's blood soul, and Dongfang Lingyun was almost flying up, which was the most important thing to him, and Dongfang Profoundlong not being able to use the Patriarch's blood soul was the most regretful thing that he had done. That was why they were plotting against Dongfang Chaochun. In order to ascend in power, Dongfang Lingyun and Dongfang Profoundlong had done such a thing. Furthermore, Dongfang Lingyun was still expanding and slaughtering those who opposed him. If this continued, the new world would not be able to unite, and the only way to stop would be to pull Dongfang Lingyun, the Patriarch, down. This was also the reason why Chen Shang was doing this. These things were all set out by Dongfang Profoundlong, and if so many people heard it, it would definitely spread out and spread to the ears of the people from the Dongfang family. At that time, those people who were deceived by Dongfang Lingyun would definitely be shaken. If Dongfang Chaochun and Dongfang Xinyue took advantage of this opportunity, they would definitely be able to take back the Dongfang family's power. Seeing as you are speaking the truth, I will let you go today. Your father will personally punish you. Chen Shang knocked Dongfang Profoundlong out with a palm. Chen Zhang's methods had already caused these people to be deeply afraid. Even if it was 100 billion bounty, most likely no one would dare think of targeting Chen Zhang's head. Chapter 738. The space warcraft that appeared in this new world wanted to eat, so that he could move all the experts with cultivations above Nirvana stage away in one breath. As for those that were below Nirvana stage, they would be put together by the space warcraft. This was a consistent style of the space warcraft, and of course, this came from Long Shui's inherited memories. This was because it was not easy to encounter a space warcraft even in the heaven realm S. After beating Dongfang Profoundlong down to the ground, Chen Shang swallowed a pill and walked in the same direction. It had been a long time since Lu Meng'er and Dongfang Xinyue returned, and he was extremely worried. What put him at ease was that he knew that Dongfang Xinyue was still alive, because he and Dongfang Xinyue both had a master-servant contract. He could feel them, but he could only sense that Dongfang Xinyue was still alive and did not know where she was. Long Shui had already activated the Heaven Tour method to search for it, but after searching through the forest, he did not find anything, not even a trace of it. Long Shui guessed that it was within a spatial space, and it was not difficult for space warcraft to find such a place. Wait, they are definitely fighting in that space, and that space is created by space warcraft. It is definitely not very strong. Let me try and see if I can feel the weak spatial undulations. Long Shui said. Chen Shang could only wait patiently, and felt the connection between him and Dongfang Xinyue that transcended space at all times. No matter where he was now, he could always feel the link between him and the two exceptionally beautiful female slaves, Dongfang Xinyue. Just as Chen Shang was waiting for more than 2 hours, a strong burst of spatial energy struck over, causing the entire forest to tremble slightly. Following that, a burst of powerful qi surged through the forest, blowing apart many large trees, broken thick tree trunks and many large leaves. That wave of aura formed from the intense innate qi was very strong, and Chen Shang could feel Lu Meng'er's cold energy from it, which made him feel a lot more at ease. In order to avoid the countless pieces of the tree trunk that were blowing towards him, Chen Shang jumped into the air and advanced while facing the berserk aura. He wanted to see what the space warcraft looked like. The air had disappeared, and the forest had quietened down once again. Chen Shang had already seen a place in the distance that was extremely empty, with craters all over, caused by the uprooting of huge trees. There were more than 30 people scattered all over the place, and the most noteworthy thing was the gigantic beast lying in the middle, whose entire body had long black fur, and was as tall as 3 people. This was the space warcraft that Long Shui had described. It had a human-like body, with black fur all over, and it was also huge and strong, but it was already lying there. Its body was covered in frost, and one could tell that it was made by Lu Menger's powerful ice wind magic Kung Fu. Chen Shang could clearly see those over 30 rankers in the distance, and he recognized a few of them. For example, he knew Man Futian and Zuo Junxuan from the Devil Subduing College, Dongfang Lingyun from the Dongfang family and the elders, and even the 2 elders from the Divine Martial Sect. However, their faces were not well. It could be seen that in order to avoid being devoured by the space warcraft, they had started to fight. Some of them were even injured. HMPH, Huang Jintian is not here, Dongfang Xinyue, just surrender, you are severely injured, how can you retaliate? Dongfang Lingyun laughed sinisterly as he looked at the pale Dongfang Xinyue. Lu Menger wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his body releasing a cold qi, holding onto a white jade long spear. He said coldly, Dongfang Lingyun, just now when we were dealing with this beast, we did our best. It can be said that without the 2 of us, you 2 would have been eaten by this guy. So what? Now I want to capture the traitor of my Dongfang family. Dongfang Lingyun did not immediately attack Dongfang Xinyue, who was severely injured, but instead walked towards the space warcraft. Since the space warcraft was so powerful, it must be filled with treasures. What do you want? We all have our hands on it, do you want to keep it for yourself? An old man's face showed that he could not accept this, but Dongfang Lingyun looked at him fiercely. Everyone had varying degrees of injuries now, and a lot of innate qi had been used up, but there were 4 people in the Dongfang family. Is that all? When you're fighting, hide behind a woman. Even if they win, they steal the spoils of war from others. Chen Shang immediately imitated Huang Jintian's voice. Haha, is Huang Jintian really you? Don't think that you've lied to me once, and you still want to play with me a second time. Chen Shang, I know it must be you. Dongfang Lingyun laughed. They hoped that Chen Shang would not come out, as otherwise, it would be very dangerous. After all, Dongfang Xinyue was heavily injured, and even standing up was difficult for him. Furthermore, the others would definitely not offend the powerful Dongfang family, as no one would help them. Chen Shang could also tell that the situation was not good for Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinyue. However, he still appeared, and very unhurriedly flew over with a faint smile on his face. You've got guts. Although we're slightly injured, it's not a problem to deal with them. It's as simple as crushing an ant to death. Dongfang Lingyun laughed. Chen Shang shook his head and sighed. He took out a pill and quickly placed it on Dongfang Xinyue's sandalwood. Although Chen Zhang's movements was extremely fast, a few knowledgeable people still knew what pill Chen Shang gave him. Eternal Dan, an old man shouted in shock, and the 30-odd experts immediately burst into an uproar. Eternal Dan, middle heaven level. Moreover, after the medicinal power of the pellet had not subsided, the innate qi would have an unlimited amount of time to do so, and would also be able to recover quickly after suffering an injury. It was considered one of the best pellets in the world of Nirvana Doom. Sure enough, after Dongfang Xinyue ate it, she who was so weak that she couldn't even talk, immediately stood up, and a wave of scorching innate qi surged onto her delicate body. Dongfang Xinyue was Chen Zhang's slave, so of course Chen Shang would not be stingy with his pills. Previously, he had given Lu Menger a Eternal Dan and a few other Relive Dan, but Lu Menger had not used any of them, so he had obviously used them long ago. After giving the Eternal Dan to Dongfang Xinyue to eat, Chen Shang took out the Relive Dan and gave it to Lu Menger. When everyone saw it, they all moaned in their hearts. This was something that only those who went through tribulation would be willing to use, but now, Chen Shang gave it to the 2 women to eat without even blinking his eyes. A rich pill like Chen Shang caused people to feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. Everyone was curious as to where he had gotten so many high-leveled pills. Dongfang Lingyun, didn't you want to kill me? After eating the Eternal Dan, Dongfang Xinyue could feel the endless innate qi. She had an unprecedented level of fighting spirit, as she held onto a burning iron chain, and her beautiful eyes shone with killing intent as she looked at Dongfang Lingyun. After Lu Menger ate the Relive Dan, his injuries immediately recovered a lot. Although he was not in his best condition, he was still better than Dongfang Lingyun and the rest. Chapter 739. Dongfang Lingyun still did not know that many people knew about his conspiracy with Dongfang Profoundlong. Before long, it would spread across the whole new world. At this moment, his entire body was trembling with anger. One reason was because he could only look at the 2 good pellets that were being used for Nirvana Doom being eaten by the 2 women, and the other reason was that these pellets were actually from that brat, Chen Shang. When he looked at Chen Zhang's expression while squandering, he knew that Chen Shang did not pity these pellets at all. There were not many Dan King in this new world, but there were many of them. However, they were still lacking in spiritual medicines, especially those that were high quality or above, so high quality or high quality ground level pills were still very precious. At this time, Dongfang Xinyue was growing more and more fond of her little mistress. Not only did he give her the fire soul, he also gave her an expensive eternal Dan when she was heavily injured. At this moment, she was also extremely pained for herself to waste that eternal Dan, so of course she was more moved and warm. Chen Shang suddenly walked over to the space warcraft's side and caressed its frosty fur, then laughed and with a thought, kept it in his storage ring. The space warcraft was killed by everyone painstakingly, yet it was taken away by Chen Shang just like that. Everyone was furious, but when they saw Lu Munger's beautiful yet cold eyes, they did not even dare fart. They had already seen the strength of the 2 women just now, and they were also injured, so they definitely could not beat them. Chen Shang, you little bastard, hand over that corpse. Dongfang Lingyun was instantly enraged. Let's work together and snatch the corpse back. No one was willing to help them. If they offended Chen Shang, the rich guy with the pills, when they asked for pills in the future, they would definitely be rejected, not to mention the fact that Dongfang Xinyue and Lu Munger, the 2 powerful women, were there. Don't worry, other than those 4 fellows, everyone else will have a share. I'm just keeping it safe for now, so that Dongfang Lingyun won't steal it. Chen Shang smiled lightly at everyone, then walked to Zuo Junxuan's side and took out the space warcraft's corpse. Elder Zuo, can you count the number of people here? Other than me and the 4 guys, everyone else will get one. Chen Shang laughed. Seeing that Chen Shang and his relationship was so close, Dongfang Lingyun couldn't help but feel a chill on his back. If they had attacked just now, Zuo Junxuan would have undoubtedly attacked them from the back. Chen Shang possessed a high-level pellet. It was a very normal thing to be able to make friends with an expert of Zuo Junxuan's level. Zuo Junxuan's 10 levels of devil-subduing method shocked everyone greatly. Being able to become the principal of the devil-subduing college was not a simple matter. Originally, everyone had already given up hope for the space warcraft's corpse, but now that there was one, everyone secretly rejoiced, and revealed their enmity towards Dongfang Lingyun and the others. Dongfang Lingyun was no fool. Seeing the situation turn against them, he scoffed, let's go, you guys remember this. When Dongfang Lingyun left, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Zuo Junxuan also started to cut the space warcraft. He even specially gave Lu Munger and Dongfang Xinyue the biggest and best part, but he gave the beast course to Chen Shang. No one had any objections. Although there are no treasures here, it is still a good harvest to obtain the bones of these strange beasts. Boy, come to Devil Subduing College often when you have time. Zuo Junxuan sincerely thanked Chen Shang. I have already reported this to the Devil Suppressing Divine Palace. I think that when you go to the Heaven Realm, the Devil Suppressing Divine Palace will definitely open its doors to you. Man Futian laughed. Let's wait until after Great War between 3 realms. Chen Shang sighed, which touched on the heaviest worry in everyone's hearts. With the death of the space warcraft, the illusion formation shrouding the forest slowly disappeared after feeling the threat. Everyone left the Bloody Thunder Mountain Sea one by one, while Chen Shang used the Luotian Gate to directly enter the spatial gate with the 2 women and return to the Chen Martial continent. It was really close. I was almost taken advantage of by Dongfang Lingyun. Dongfang Xinyue let out a faint sigh, chuckled, and then kissed Chen Zhang's cheeks. Master is so nice to me. Dongfang Xinyue's jade face was filled with gentleness and her eyes carried an enchanting smile, as if she was going to melt Chen Shang down. Chen Shang watched in a daze as he reached out to caress her cheek. You're welcome. I gave him a rare opportunity. If you grasp it well, he should be back to Dongfang clan very quickly, and continue to be his Dongfang family patriarch. Quote. Chen Shang then told Dongfang Profoundlong and Dongfang Xinyue about Dongfang Profoundlong, making Dongfang Xinyue even more grateful towards him. Elder sister Munger. Chen Shang pouted his lips. Little scoundrel, you're so bad. Lu Munger lightly stomped his feet and his face turned slightly red. He then leaned his head over and hugged Chen Shang, kissing her passionately for a moment. I'm going to meet my appointment. I don't know if I'll be late or not. Chen Shang shrugged and used the Luotian Gate to leave. When Chen Shang returned to the Super Dan Imperial College, He opened his own door and saw a person wearing a wooden mask, causing him to be shocked. "Little girl, you scared me to death. How can you casually enter Marshal Ant's room? How is this possible?" Chen Shang was often intimidated by the elder Dan. This made him extremely unhappy. "Did you bring a woman into my bamboo house? How can you smell the fragrance of other women?" The elder Dan's voice carried anger. Chen Shang thought for a moment, then immediately said, "You misunderstood. That was when my recognized sister, Yulin, looked at me, and lived in there. The competition between us will start in 3 days. I have already collected the medicinal ingredients for 2 Earth-grade low-rank Dan-s." The elder Dan said, his voice was still stiff and cold. "Oh, what pills ingredients are they all from? How do we decide who wins?" Chen Shang anxiously asked. He was extremely concerned about this matter. As long as he could win against this woman, he would be able to see her appearance. "You'll know when the time comes." Elder Dan flew away. Chen Shang curled his lips. When the time came, he would not find it too difficult to refine 2 types of Earth-grade low-rank Dan-s. The Space Warcraft's Beast Core is also known as the Spatial Elemental Bead. You should be able to use this Spatial Elemental Bead as the Luotian Gate's energy. At that time, you don't need to use your own strength. Long Shui said. "In that case, the spatial orb has a lot of spatial force. Can you let me travel back and forth from the sacred Dan realm frequently?" Chen Zhang's heart was moved. Of course not, the sacred Dan realm is not that easy to get to. The formation that Fan Yakan obtained could only allow him to travel back and forth. Long Shui said. Chapter 740. Chen Shang originally wanted to go find Yun Xiaodao and the others to see how their progress was, but he met Wu Kaming. "Little Martial Uncle, I've been looking for you for a long time." Ever since Wu Kaming passed the Nirvana tribulation, he had become much younger and looked much more lively. However, he still spoke like an old man. "What is it?" Chen Shang asked as he walked. The headquarters for the construction of the Dan Alliance in the continent of the King is more or less finished, and there are still many alchemists that have gathered here. It is said that these Dan King are going to conduct a competition to elect an alliance master. Do you know of this news? Su Yun said. Wu Kaming said. He was a member of the Wu clan, and was the most informed about the continent of the King. "I don't know." Chen Shang also wanted to go watch the Dan King competition. "When do we start?" "Starting tomorrow. I heard that the alchemists that are invited to the Dan Alliance are all famous in their world. Second senior sister and Hua Shangyu also received the invitation, but they did not go." Wu Kaming said. Chen Shang rubbed his nose and said, "I am considered quite famous in mortal martial realm, didn't they invite me?" Wu Kaming shook his head. "Your talent is not bad, but you do not have enough experience. Maybe they really look down on you. Even though you have relived Dan, they knew that you did not refine it." Quote. "You're underestimating me." Chen Shang grunted softly. "Then are there any other young alchemists being invited to join the Dan Alliance?" "Of course there is. Of course there is." Wu Kaming laughed. "Junior Master, I am sorry for you, I was actually looked down upon by this group of people." Chen Shang just shook his head and smiled, but he still planned to join in the fun. "How can I go watch the Dan King competition to refine pills?" "What is it, Junior Martial Uncle, you want to go and ruin everything?" Wu Kaming laughed craftily. "Although I am not alchemist, I am still invited to watch. I can bring you there." Chen Shang laughed. "Little Baldy, I'll be troubling you then." Wu Kaming said. "It's nothing, that's right, Junior Martial Uncle, do you have any good pills to sell recently?" "There are some Profound Yang Fire Dan-s, Small Shaping Dan-s, and even Dinghun Dan-s." Chen Shang thought for a while and said, "These were all high-grade profound level pills. There's still a little Chunyuan Gold Dan you want." Wu Kaming opened his eyes wide. Profound Yang Fire Dan-s, Small Shaping Dan-s and Dinghun Dan-s are all rare high-grade profound level pills, especially Small Shaping Dan-s and Dinghun Dan-s. When I first heard about them, I was still a warrior of the 100 refining realm. "You can even refine these pills?" Wu Kaming asked. "Of course. Otherwise, how could I have so many?" Chen Shang chuckled. "If you and a lad ever need anything in the future, come find me. If we sell the Small Shaping Dan to the Beast Martial School, we can definitely sell it for a good price. Many sects that rear demonic beasts also need them very much, and can sell them as ground-level pills." Wu Kaming's eyes lit up. "Junior Martial Uncle, you have so many rare pills, maybe you can make that scene even more beautiful." Chen Shang laughed. "Don't think so badly of me. I'm only going to exchange some potion concocting techniques with them, then casually sell some medicinal pellets. Wu Kaming secretly despised Chen Shang. If he had to say it, he would just go and make a fool of others while he was at it. Although the new world was very big, to the number of martial artists competing, some high-leveled pills were still very precious. For a rich person like Chen Shang, as long as he worked hard enough and opened a pill shop to sell pills, he would definitely become a well-known figure. It wouldn't be long before he made a name for himself. There were only a few thousand invited continent of the King-s. In this new world, it could be said that there were very few of these people, and the majority of them were pretty good alchemists. That is the Dan Alliance's tower. Alliance head will be created on the first floor and can enter the stage tomorrow. At that time, the Alliance members will have a pill refining competition and a few Dan King will compete to decide on Alliance head. Wu Kaming said. What is this Dan Alliance trying to do? It was true that it was good to gather many talented alchemists together. Alchemist's position was originally high, and with so many alchemists united, it was definitely a very strong force. Wu Kaming thought for a moment, then said, it seems to be for an exchange, but they must have thought that it was profitable, at least I think that's good. If I were to come to the Dan Alliance to ask for pills, it would be much easier. After all, there are elite alchemists from all over the world gathered here. There were many empty areas above continent of the king. Not only did the Dan Alliance build a tall tower, he even created a huge city. It was said that the spar were all produced by the Dan King and they invited many people to build such a huge city with the fastest speed possible. The Dan King was very rich, and it was a joint venture between several Dan Kings. At the same time, some of their allies had produced spars, so the Dan Alliance could be said to be the wealthiest power. Even if there were no strong experts, no one would dare to offend the Dan Alliance. Chen Shang and Wu Kaming strolled around the city. Although it had just been established not long ago, all of the shops here had already been sold out, and those rich shops could only be bought by the members of the Alliance of the Dan Alliance. In other words, in this gigantic pill city, the good locations were almost all bought by the Dan Alliance. This group of people are too bored. They want to use a different method to earn spar. As Chen Shang walked on the street, he saw a few closed doors of shops. All of these were bought, but were not opened for sale. Wu Kaming could tell that Chen Shang had the intention to open a shop, and he knew that Chen Shang could obtain a lot of rare and precious herbs to refine pills. If he were to open a shop here, based on the rare and precious pills that he sold, no matter how crappy the place was, as long as they were advertised, it would definitely be very lively. Junior Marshal Uncle, my Wu clan has some prestige here. Do you want me to help you get a relatively large store? Wu Kaming asked with a smile. Chen Shang thought for a moment, then nodded. Okay, help me arrange a shop first. When I have time in the future, I will carefully plan how to open it. In fact, he planned to work with the Dan Fragrance Pure Land and occupy a position in the Pill City. He wanted to earn a lot of money from the spar, but he would have to discuss this with Hua Shangyu after seeing him. Many members of the Dan Alliance were originally from the same sector clan, so once Dan City was established, they all opened shop here, affecting the business of many other continents. Chen Shang guessed that even the Dan Fragrance Pure Land was affected greatly.